Hey everyone, I sincerely appreciate your support. If you enjoy my audiobooks, I would be truly grateful if you could subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support even further, you're welcome to become a Patreon member, where you can access audiobooks of novels as long as they are freely available on the internet. Your kindness and support mean so much. Thank you.
The unexpected, as the name implies, is, well, unexpected. And no matter how sharp or cunning you think you are, you can never truly prepare for it. Life's a chaotic mess of variables, and sometimes it just decides to throw a solar-powered curveball straight into your chest. Like today, for example. There I was, minding my own business, casually shopping during a summer sale in my little shop/cabin, when a literal beam of radiant light slammed into me. No metaphor. No time to react. Just one moment I'm eyeing discounted shorts, the next, zap, blinding light, instant dread, and the thought, well, I guess this is how I die. Classic. Except, I didn't die. No pain. No burning. Just the strangest sensation, like something was warping me away from reality itself. And then I heard it. Welcome to my realm, came a soft, melodious voice that could melt stone. Aphrodite, is this your way of asking me out? I asked, already dreading whatever horny divine scheme she'd cooked up involving me, her, and probably Ares in some love triangle of doom. She smiled. No, smirked, and winked. No, darling. This time, I'm accepting that offer you made last time. Oh no, you told me to call you. So here I am. Ares failed. Now I'm taking what I want, she purred, licking her lips. You. 1 month. No breaks. No distractions. Just pleasure. Floating toward me with a hypnotic wave of her finger, she added, try not to die too fast, mortal. Well, I've had worse fates. So this is how I go, I whispered dramatically. Death by SNU. I accept this fate with honor. Doremi, Inarimo. A scream shattered the moment. A fiery arrow whistled through the air, nailing Aphrodite square in the shoulder. Flames erupted around me, forming a protective barrier. You dare? Came another voice, furious and divine. Artemis, bow in hand, eyes blazing, she stormed into the room. You dare seduce my little brother? Technically, I wasn't resisting, I muttered. I will not let you take my champion. Hestia's calm, stern voice followed. She stepped in behind Artemis, radiating an energy that was somehow far more terrifying. He didn't seem to mind, Aphrodite said, smugly pointing at, let's say lower Adam. I refused to dignify that with a response. I said, trying to look dignified while adjusting my pants. Your tricks are known, Artemis snarled. No man, god or mortal, can resist your scent, but that doesn't make this okay. I'm shaking. Aphrodite rolled her eyes. He is mine to protect, Hestia declared, her smile sending a visible shiver down Aphrodite's spine. Unless he comes to you, you will stay away. Fine, Aphrodite relented, sighing dramatically. I'll wait. Adam. She gave me a wink before vanishing. Despicable harlot, Artemis growled. Later, back at the cabin. So yeah, I didn't go out like a champ. Artemis and Hestia saved me. Honestly, it felt like being pulled out of heaven and thrown back in a boring mortality. And to top it all off, I came back to letters. Letter 1 from Apollo. Dear little bro, so sorry Artemis and Hestia blocked your fun, but I'm proud of you. Almost banging Aphrodite is no small feat. Okay, actually a lot of people can brag about that, but still I'm proud. Apollo. Thanks. Letter 2 from Ares. It was I, Ares, the one who cock-blocked you. If I can't have fun with you too, no one can. I told Artemis and Hestia where to find you. Ha ha. Learn your lesson. You either clap with me or not at all. Unbelievable. Letter 3 from Zeus, seriously? Adam Aragon. First, thank you again for recovering my Master Bolt. Second, on a completely unrelated matter, why did you look so disgusted when I tried to sleep with you that one time? Not that I want to, of course, just have I grown unattractive by modern standards? I expect an honest reply. Zeus. What? The actual hell. Apollo's POV. I was so proud of my little brother. Proud doesn't even cover it. The kid almost bagged Aphrodite. That's like Mount Olympus-level bragging rights. The boy's luck is fascinating, Hermes said with a smirk. I know, right? I chuckled. He keeps surviving the impossible. I genuinely thought he'd be dead by now, Hermes admitted. Never doubt the children of Leto, I said with pride. As if that's a compliment, Hermes laughed. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Hermes. I'm awesome enough without being a Leto baby, he said, shrugging. Somewhere else. Ex-crack addict. Priest of a new church of Artemis. That day I saw the light, literally. The true God descended and drop-kicked me into salvation. His path is hard, yet fair. He will kick our sins away. I preached passionately to my growing congregation. He will break our bones and build us anew. Our Lord Artemis had chosen me, his first priest, and it was now my divine duty to spread the gospel. I was a genius. Okay, maybe that's an overstatement. But today I felt damn good. 2 weeks had passed since Hestia and Artemis tag-teamed my divine destiny into oblivion, but I had moved on. Why? Because I had completed the mnemonic chapter of my grimoire. How'd I know? The book literally let me flip to new chapters now. Progress. Now I had access to not just the mnemonic chapter, but also the demonic arts and curses chapter. So many spells. I giggled like a middle schooler with a crush. So many glorious prank opportunities. My giggles turned into full-blown villainous laughter as I flipped through the cursed tome. The variety was insane. Dozens, no, hundreds of spells. And then I stopped. One spell caught my eye. The all-seeing eye. A spell crafted to spy and observe anything, anywhere, without being noticed. No material components required, only a massive amount of mana. Incantation. I summoned the all-seeing eye to tear a hole into the sky. Reveal to me that which is hidden. Unveil to me what is forbidden. It was official. My grimoire had access to other universes' magic systems. I cackled with joy. Mwahaha. Naturally, I needed a test subject. I chose Percy and Annabeth. I stood tall, channeled my mana, and chanted. I summoned the all-seeing eye to tear a hole into the sky. Reveal to me that which is hidden. Unveil to me what is forbidden. A shimmering, oval-shaped magical window opened before me, revealing the current situation. Magical feed. Camp Half-Blood dorm room. Annabeth sat on her bed, her face set in serious concentration. Percy lounged across from her, looking emotionally defeated. I think I finally know how to beat him, Annabeth said, a dangerous glint in her eye. Oh, they're talking about me. I smiled. You sure? Percy asked warily. I just got that damn song out of my head. Annabeth nodded. Our mistake was attacking too soon. We need a slow burn. Build it up. Subtle revenge. Psychological warfare. Slow plan, huh? Oh, Slow Beth, you're so adorably outmatched. I thought we agreed to surrender. Percy sighed. He's too strong. I've accepted it. Never. Annabeth snapped. I took that as a cue. Da-da-da-da-da. I sang, casting a mental curse to restart my most annoying theme song in their heads. No. Percy ran out of the room. How did he no. Annabeth screamed. Another win. That's the 5th time this week. Unknown POV. My son had grown differently than I anticipated. Not what I had foreseen, but I wasn't disappointed. No, I was intrigued. He had yet to awaken his true power as my son. But he would. In time. I knew that woman would produce something fascinating. I mused aloud, amused and curious. Adam POV, the all-seeing eye, absolutely amazing. Also, mana guzzling. Even with my enormous reserves, a couple uses left me wiped. Definitely one of those special occasions, only spells. As for the rest of the demonic arts, well, the chapter was insane. Some spells had no cost. Others demanded your life, literally. One particularly suicidal gem, the Endura Curse. Mastering this chapter was going to be challenging, but that could wait. Today, I plan to take a break. Maybe even redeem that Underworld spa coupon Hades gave me. Hestia, if you can hear me, I'm heading to the Underworld for a massage, I called out casually. Please make sure the house doesn't burn down. Whoosh! Hestia appeared in a burst of flame. That was fast. I'm coming with you, she said with a smile that screamed you have no choice. I haven't seen my little brother in ages, and I could use a spa day. Well, I guess we're making a family trip, I chuckled. Hades POV. Adam had returned to the Underworld for another spa visit, this time with Hestia in tow. I was thrilled. Hestia rarely visits, and when she does, she brings cookies. Hestia, I greeted with genuine joy, pulling her into a hug. Hades, she smiled, embracing me warmly. Hey, Hades, Adam waved. Hey, I nodded. By the way, Persephone wants to show you some apartments. Adam paled. Poor guy. She's really set on you moving down here. Awesome, he mumbled, as if being shown 47 different units wasn't his idea of fun. Let's enjoy our spa day first, I said, walking toward the hot springs. You're not going home today, are you? Adam sighed. No, I laughed. Percy POV. I'm never crossing Adam again. Never. His pranking powers defy logic, physics, and all known boundaries of taste and mercy. Annabeth can fight that war alone now. I'm out. The room was dark and a bit damp, a result of my practice in the dark arts. I had no idea why, but apparently practicing the dark arts in my book seemed to change the environment of where I practiced. The dark arts in my book were dangerous. Although they brought a lot of benefits, they also brought a lot of consequences when using them. But it wasn't all bad. Certain spells had no over-the-top prices. They were simple curses, so to speak. But if I had to be honest, I didn't know how I was going to complete this chapter. The last chapter had no real high requirements besides memorization, but this one had a lot of highs and lows to it, which would make it very difficult to complete. But if I had learned anything, it was that no matter how difficult the chapter seemed, the book had a conscience of its own. It had saved me once when the sirens almost killed me, which indicated that maybe it wasn't me deciding when to move on, but the book deciding when I was ready to do so. The curses and spells in the book varied in power and strength. Some were simply designed to trick the enemy with small illusions, mirages, and the likes. Others were made to give minor afflictions to my targets like diseases that work on magical creatures. Up to this point, none of them cost anything really expensive. Most of them were mana-oriented. But once you crossed that line, things would go down. The real heavy weapons, or the big boys as I called them, were curses so powerful that if I went by the description alone, they could even harm the likes of the gods. These curses were very expensive, though. Some of them would corrupt you like the first spell I used from this chapter, and although I didn't know exactly what they meant by corruption since this term varied too much depending on the person it was corrupting, I didn't want to find out. The point is that some of them charge you too much, like what's the point of winning if you die? With this in mind, I decided to practice the low-cost spells of this chapter for the moment being. Later on, I would see how to master the rest of the chapter without dying. Adam. Hestia greeted coming into existence in my room with her usual smile, one that could light up the whole world even is the worst day. Still practicing? She asked, her lips forming a pout. Yes, I replied with a soft sigh. I forgot we were going to see a Disney marathon today. Then close that book, Hestia declared. I want to start with The Lion King, she added, dragging me out of my room. Okay, Hestia was not a person you could say no to. She was the definition of adorable. Hestia continued to drag me along until we reached the living room of my cabin, where she threw me against the couch like a stuffed animal. I'll go cook the snacks. Do you want anything specific? She asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Totally adorable, whatever you want. After all, everything you cook is delicious, I replied. Hestia blushed and with a smile trotted off to the kitchen. I'll cook something to die for, she declared with pure excitement, and I wholly believed her. Don't you want to know where you come from? A voice whispered in my ear, hoarse but yet deep. Instinctively, I looked around trying to find the intruder, but found nothing. Was I imagining things? Go to Boston. If you want answers, boy, the voice said, and as soon as the unknown entity said that, I felt that something had left my cabin. What was that? Hestia questioned, her gaze distant. I have no idea, I said, not at all surprised that she as a goddess had realized what happened. We'll discuss it after the movies. Hestia sighed. Whatever it wasn't Greek. Unknown POV. I did as I was told. The child now knows there's a mystery he has to unveil. I informed the council. Good. Let's hope he takes the bait. It would be best to have him in our side before his father corrupts him. Don't you want to know where you come from? What did that mean? I knew I was a reincarnated being. Did the voice knew that? If so, what would I find in Boston? I wasn't sure what to do. If I went to Boston, I might get caught in a trap, but if I didn't, curiosity would eat me up. I think you should go to Boston and see who contacted you, Hestia said, noting that she wasn't paying attention to the movies. No one would dare kill you, just because if they did, they'd be looking for trouble with the Greek pantheon, and besides, whatever came into your cabin wasn't Greek. But it was welcomed by you. The hearth only allows those of Greek blood, and those your heart welcomes, meaning whoever it was family or someone you know. Someone I know. My father? Perhaps it's your father, Hestia smiled, as if reading my mind. It would not be the first time two pantheons birth a child together, but it would be the first time Zeus allows the child to live long enough to know what he is, even if he is doing so unknowingly. So be careful. Of course, Zeus was once again the thorn in my side. I nodded with a smile, but first let's see our movies. I winked at her. Now that I know what to do, I want to enjoy what it could be my last day of chilling. Hestia snorted. That sound about right. And with that, we started to watch the movie marathon once again, my mind this time at ease. For now, I had the answer I was looking for. I would go to Boston and see who was the one that contacted me. Boston was exactly like I remembered in my past life. Well, not exactly, because this time I'm not in a hospital, but it was pretty similar in the end. Hestia had sent me on another quest to avoid the Olympians hunting my ass. I really appreciate what she does for me. Anyway, with my quest at hand, I explored Boston left and right, and boy, I noticed a little detail a bit too late. If only disembodied voices were more descriptive with their messages. I groaned. Boston was fucking massive. What did the voice expect? Go to Boston. The fucker might as well have said go to China, and I would have been in the same situation. That shit was not specific at all. It's like saying loom for a cow in Texas, though I suppose that would have been better than what I have. And then it clicked. Oh my God. I'm a big idiot. I've been looking at this mission all wrong. Instead of trying to find something odd in Boston with my two mortal eyes, I should have focused on searching magic in the area. I just didn't think of it because I had nothing in particular to search for. But if the being was strong enough to alert Hestia of his presence, then his magic should be leagues above anything considered normal within Boston. All right, grabbing the map of Boston I had conveniently acquired in the local post office, and with a generic mnemonic incantation, I started to search the map for any magical anomalies within the state. This would take a while to do so. Boston was big, and with no parameters for the search, it was basically like Googling a random letter or something along those lines. Nonetheless, the spell did its job, eventually highlighting one where I had to go, an hotel, which was, I swear to chaos, if Ares is behind this, I will make my personal mission to kill him. Begrudgingly, I teleported to the alley behind the hotel, ready to nut punch the god of war. Fuck the man Manuel Ares across the line where his nuts were secure, ready to fight. I walked towards the hotel, walking through the alley, and much to my pleasing surprise, the energy coming from the hotel was not anything like the magical signature I was used to feel in Ares. This one was vastly stronger. And before anyone asked, but Adam, if the being inside the hotel is stronger than Ares, shouldn't you be afraid? And to answer that question, are you retarded or forgot to charge your brain last night? Right now, even Hestia could one-shot me. So operating under that logic, fearing the unknown entity more than Ares was stupid, because both of them could kill me with a blink for now. But fear not, I wasn't going to enter unprotected. I had a bunch of magical buffs to help me out if things got tough. So taking a deep breath, I opened the door to the hotel lobby, and that was it. I was immediately knocked down with what I can assume was the force of a horse punching my face with its four hooves at the same time. Literally, the moment I touched the door and moved that bitch a little, I was down for the count. Unknown. POV. This shouldn't be possible, I stated, looking at the kid I had knocked down with my customized weapon, the four hooves. A war hammer that was shaped to look like door hooves of a horse together. Isn't he Greek? He smells Greek, sister, my sister said. He does. I nodded, but he isn't entirely Greek. The All-Father won't be too happy that a living Greek demigod entered his hotel. Only the dead should be able to enter the Valhalla. He isn't dead. I think, my sister hummed, poking the unconscious or dead kid with a stick. Well, if I kill them, we're solving 50% of our problems. I offered. That is a bad joke. My sister sighed. Now let's take the kid to Helgi. He will know what to do. I nodded. Adam POV. I opened my eyes to find I was alive, which meant I had someone to hunt. What kind of asshole attacks an 11-year-old kid without even announcing his presence? Not an anime enemy, that's for sure. You are finally awake, a man with a massively long beard said. His beard it touched the floor, that'd just be a pain in the ass to keep. Observing the man, I noticed right away he wasn't the one that knocked me out. His was weaker than me, considerably weaker, I could tell that. So I opted to observe him. His hairs looked like a buzzard that exploded inside of a volcano. Odd considering his beard was well kept. As for his clothes, he was dressed in a forest green pinstripe suit, with black designer boots. As for accessories, he was wearing gold rings and chains, many of them. Are you a pimp? He literally looked like a pimp. He was like the Santa version of one. What? No, the man shouted in response. My name is Helgi. I'm a hero. We look like a pimp. You should go easy on the gold accessories and maybe change that suit, I replied. How dare you? Helgi the pimp shouted. So where am I? And who knocked me out? I asked, and the man sighed. You are on Asgard, Hotel Valhalla to be precise, and the one that knocked you out was one of the 12 Valkyries, serving the All-Father. Helgi sighed. I see. Analyzing data. Analysis complete. Starting run the fuck away from here program. You'll never catch me alive. Why did I run? Well, I'm not sure myself, but it felt at the time like the right call. Stop on the name of the All-Father. Helgi the pimp shouted, running after me. Never. I ran through the hotel with no idea where I was going, with Helgi chasing me close behind until I managed to escape the Nordic hero in one of the hundreds of corridors the hotel had, where I immediately changed form to that of an animal, a raven to be precise. All right, Adam, focus. Some way, some fucking how, you managed to get into the famous Valhalla. Now think, was this the place the voice in my cabin wanted me to see? If so, was I related to the Norse god some way? Interesting magic you have there, someone remarked with a chuckle behind me. Startled, I turned around to see who had said that, and a single thought crossed my mind. F-U-C-K. In front of me stood a barrel-chested man with massive arms, gray hair, and a square-cut beard that accentuated his weathered face. His left eye was covered with a black patch, leaving only his right eye shining with curiosity. As for his clothes, he was wearing a polo shirt and some khaki shorts. Gotta stay on character. Quack. Ravens don't quack. The man I knew to be Odin chuckled, but I must admit it's hilarious to see you try and fail so badly. So you were going to kill me? I hesitantly asked. Odin snorted. The ALLFUKNGFTCR snorted. I think you have been spending too much time with the Greeks, he laughed. Why would I do that? So far you haven't done anything worth killing you. I might have. I conceded with a small chuckle. Now, why are you here? Odin asked, gesturing around, confused as to why I had chosen to hide in one of the cleaning supply rooms his hotel had. I will assume you ask why I am here in this broom closet. Well, I kind of panicked and ran from the Helgi the pimp. I chuckled, but then processed what I had just said. I called one of his employees a pimp to his face. Do I really want to die? Ha ha ha. It does look like one, doesn't he? Odin laughed, his guffaws echoing in the large room, causing the brooms to shake and the cleaning supplies to fall. He is surprisingly chill for someone on the same level as Zeus, maybe even stronger. He does. I nodded. All right, drop the transformation. You are on the clear, Odin said, taking a deep breath, recovering from the fit of laughter he had let out a few seconds ago. With my approval, no one will touch you, he added with a smile, and decided it was best to follow his command. I did, as I was told. So, I have a question if I'm permitted to ask, I said, being as respectful as possible. Then again, if Odin killed me, Ares and Zeus would never get the pleasure to do so themselves. A win-win situation. Odin looked at me and said, sure, he smiled. Do you know if anyone contacted me in my cabin? You know, in Camp Half-Blood? I asked if someone could answer this was him. He was supposed to be all-knowing. No, Odin answered with a smile. I have no idea who or what contacted you, which is both refreshing and alarming, he chuckled. But I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you. I see, I sighed. Now let's talk about your magic. It's very unique. Odin looked at me with his right eye, or only eye for that matter, and smiled like a child with a new toy, something that genuinely terrified me. Do you infuse mana into your constructs? Or into your incantations? I spend hours talking with Odin about my magic, and even the most insignificant details were enough to have the god of magic smiling like a love-struck fool. He asked me questions about things I had no idea how to respond, or if I even could to begin with. In the end, I decided to tell him a little about my Grimoire, and with a Kakashi-style one-eye smile, he offered me asylum on his hotel, under the condition I would answer his questions about my magical powers every now and then to the best of my abilities. In summary, Odin was a weird, very friendly yet terrifying. Unlike Hestia, where I knew no matter what I did, she would never hurt me, I instinctively knew I had to thread carefully with Odin. He was like a tamed lion, one wrong move, and is not tamed anymore. At least that's what I felt like I was a kid, walking on a minefield. I recognized that look, a very, very muscular girl said, walking towards me with a smile. The girl in question was a tall, burly teen with pale blue eyes and snow-blonde hair braided down her shoulders. Let me guess, the Allfather found you interesting? She asked with a knowing smirk, and I nodded. The name is Ganilla, daughter of the god of thunder, Thor, and captain of the Valkyries, serving the Allfather, Odin. Ganilla smiled. I apologize for what one of my sisters did to you. Have no doubt she's been thoroughly punished for hurting an innocent man. A pleasure to meet you. I bowed dramatically. The name is Aragon. Adam Aragon, son of the Titaness of Motherhood Leto, founder of the pranking sect of Camp Half-Blood, and owner of the anything you can buy as long as you have money store. I chuckled. Ganilla stared at me, uncomfortable all of the sudden. Had I said something wrong? I see you. Welcome to Hotel Valhalla. I hope you enjoy your stay, she said, all sense of friendliness gone, as she walked away from me. What is it with muscle ladies hating me? I sighed. First Clarice, and now her. Oh well, I can always bald her if she tries to bully me. I shrugged. With that said and done, I decided to explore the hotel and see if I could find something interesting to do. Who knows? I might have some fun around here. Odin POV. The boy had arrived earlier than I had expected, but here he was in my kingdom. If only Zeus knew who he had under his thumb for so long, the boy would be dead by now. Who is he? Asked the captain of my Valkyries, Ganilla with a frown. I feel he is partly Greek, but that's not all there is to him. I looked at Ganilla with a knowing smile. I expected nothing less from my granddaughter. Yes, but you can't know that neither can he. Not yet, he's not ready. Your will is my way, Ganilla said, kneeling down. Don't worry, I smiled at her, noticing that she was tense. He has a good heart and a pure soul. His presence will not bring any harm to Asgard. I understand, Ganilla said, still kneeling. Now, go and see that our guest is not treated badly, I said, winking at her. I will take a walk alone. Pure of heart, he was. But if he fell into the wrong hands, if his father managed to corrupt him, it would be the end of Midgard, so it was written. The boy. He looks more innocent than I had expected. My beautiful wife, Frigg said, teleporting to my side. For a guy destined to destroy Midgard, I was expecting something more. I don't know, evil. Yeah, I wasn't expecting someone like him either, I replied with a laugh. He reminds me of Balder, Frigg said, sighing with sadness, tears threatening to form in her beautiful eyes. I grabbed her arms gently and pulled her into a hug, her head gently touching my chest. Yeah, although Balder wasn't much of a joker, and let me tell you Adam is, I commented with a short chuckle. Of course they're different in personality, Frigg stated with a snort, but their souls, they're so alike. They both genuinely don't want to hurt others, but alas, they have both been forced to do so. I see. I chuckled, you are right. I just don't understand. How can he be the one destined to destroy Midgard? Frigg sighed. How can someone that is inherently good be the one that will bring upon the end of times for Midgard? Well, when a man learns to love, he bears the risk of hatred. I sighed. And so he will learn to love, and I would make sure things didn't end like in my vision of the future. Unlike Ragnarok, this future was not written in stone. Adam POV. Hotel Asgard was so far, way more, and I mean way more interesting than Camp Half-Blood. For one, the hotel alone was several times bigger than the camp, and it had a more advanced facility for training. From sword training to guns. It was cool, I had to admit. Brat. Helgi greeted as I walked to the lobby, and right away I could tell he was angry. Pimp, I greeted. I am not a pimp. Helgi growled. And I'm not a brat. I shot back. I don't know why they let you be here, but I will enjoy the day our king kicks you out. Helgi sneered. Sure, pimp. I wave him off. That's it. I'm ending you. Helgi growled, jumping out his desk. You would be wise to drop this little circus act, Helgi, Ganilla said, coming out of nowhere, her voice carrying a cold undertone. The All-Father has declared he is welcomed here, and until he says otherwise, you will treat him with the utmost respect, or I will show you why I lead the Valkyries into battle. Damn, I chuckled, loving the poetic justice of the situation. Fine, Helgi muttered, lowering his head. A wise choice, Ganilla said, her eyes cold and unmoving, almost as if she was dead. Wait a second, is she dead, though? If I recall correctly, only dead people go to Valhalla. Thanks for the save, I smiled. I almost thought you didn't like me, I added with a teasing grin. I don't, Ganilla stated, and ouch. But I'm not here to like people. I'm here to obey the commands the All-Father gives. And he likes you. And that's all I need to know. Huh, Odin likes me. That's already a win. All right, well, if you'll excuse me, I will go down to the training facilities. I chuckled. As you wish, Ganilla said, walking away. What a weird lady. Hestia POV. It has been 6 days since Adam left the camp, and while I couldn't help but miss him, he was such a nice change from my old life. I hope everything goes right, I muttered. He's a strong and rather unique kid. Hades assured me he will survive, and if he doesn't, well, you can always come and visit him. Hades chuckled, and Persephone hit him. What? Don't pay attention to him, Persephone sighed. He is just trying to be funny and nice. She glared at him, and Hades shuddered. I know, it's just I can't shake this feeling something big will happen to him. I sighed, and I don't know if this change will be for good or for bad, and that's what worries me. We might be gods, but even us can't control everything, Hades sighed. All we can do is trust him and see what happens, he smiled. Yes, I smiled. All we can do is hope for the best. Those words were nice, and yet I did not believe them. Not because Hades was lying, but because the situation felt ominous. Don't worry, Persephone smiled. Now, let's continue decorating his apartment. I want to surprise him when he comes back, she giggled. I looked at the apartment we were currently painting like mortals would do, and smiled. Yeah, let's. I chuckled. I don't understand. Why can't we let our servants do this? Hades grumbled. Or at least use our powers. Because it would not be as special, Persephone added, sticking her tongue out at him, to which I laughed. Odin had given me a very good advice, something I failed to see or think of until he told me. The reason why mages in his realm were so good fighters' mana enhancement. He said the reason I was losing so much was because my muscles were barely getting any mana. It was so simple, and even then, that simplistic idea flew over my head until now. Because realistically, I only use mana with my spells out of that. I had no idea how to use that valuable resource. So Odin had someone teach me how to do so. It wasn't hard, just different considering it was used to gather mana with my incantations, but once I managed to do it, the results were incredible. I was faster, way faster than before, stronger, but even with all those gains, I was clumsy. I had lost finesse, moving faster, shortened my reaction time, and my new mana-infused strength was hard to control, meaning I would have to learn how to fight all over again. But considering the improvements were too good for me to even care, and the fact it barely consumed any mana, I was happy. I would get stronger and stronger, but it had a limit for what Odin told me. Each body has a limit of how much they could enhance with mana. That limit depends on the age and power of the person or god in question. People like Percy and Annabeth, who don't use the mystic arts to fight, apparently have their bodies function in a different way. A mage and a non-mage are very different in one single aspect. One of them can control their mana entirely, while the other basically functions in something akin to autopilot. What did this mean? Well, people like them have their bodies decide how to distribute the mana within them, but mages, like me, have to do everything manually. For better or for worse, we control our mana almost entirely. I feel like I could crush Clarice with a single punch. I chuckled as I punched a rock, shattering it. If she's a rock and doesn't move, perhaps. Ganilla commented, "God damn it, I need to put a bell on here." Sorry, excited I got a physical boost? I wasn't sure I could call it that, Matt. I'll go with that. Impressive, Ganilla said, sounding not impressed at all, but far from the strongest I have seen. If you want to bring glory to your name, you need to train. Force is meaningless without skill. She was right about that. Can't refute that. But while I can't refute that, it doesn't mean I will not tease her. And, let me guess, you will train me. I smirked, and much to my unexpected surprise, she smirked back. Yes, I will. Ganilla stated, a smug grin on her face and something akin to amusement on her eyes. I can't let you shame the All-Father by leaving Valhalla with such a disgusting fighting skill. Excuse me, bitch. I don't even have a full year training. Alas, it was a good opportunity. The Valkyries were legendary. I see. Oh, let's get to it. I rolled my eyes at her, and without a warning, she punched me, with enough strength to dislocate my jaw. I stared at her, eyes wide open, my jaw hurting a ton. Lesson 1. Never lower your guard. You probably thought as long as I can cast my spells I can win anything. Well, all it took was a single hit to disable your magic. Yep, this was war. Taking a deep, painful breath, I put my jaw back into its place and said, I hope you know this means war, right? God, even after fixing it, it hurt. One will take you a long time to win, Ganilla stated, amused. Day and night, I would fight Ganilla and her sisters. Not because her training schedule said so, but because she was training me for the unexpected. According to her, a warrior must always be ready to fight, anytime, anywhere. And I can understand that. I mean, it makes sense, but fucking damn it. I would be sleeping, and boom, a Valkyrie would swap my room and beat the crap out of me. I would be taking a dump, and boom, Valkyries. Eating? You guessed it, Valkyries. And the worst part was that even with my enhanced strength and speed, it was hard as fuck to hit them. In 1 week, they had broken and healed almost every bone I could name. Granted, I can't name many, but having over 20 fractures in a week was a bit traumatizing, even if they could heal the fractures right away. But I had to admit, Ganilla's method was working. I was lasting more and more each fight. My body was reacting better to the random encounters. And while they still beat me, I was getting a hand of my new strength. I heard my granddaughter has been beating you. Odin laughed, walking to what was left of me for the day. Not only her, each and every single one of your Valkyries. I chuckled. If you don't want this, all you have to do is say it. Odin smirked. At this point, I snorted. Oh, no. I will keep trying until I can make your granddaughter say uncle. I was going to make every Valkyrie submit before I stopped this. Ha. Good luck with that. Odin added with a grin. Beware, though, if my son hears you beat his daughter. He sighed, and my eyes widened. Would Thor kill me for that? He will invite you a drink, and then he will fight you, not out of revenge, but desire for a challenge, as if I was near to challenge a god. I weighed my options, and well, you all know me. I'm a vindictive asshole. I will get my revenge regardless of the consequences of it. So, for our chat today, what curses are troubling you from the book? Odin smiled, and I started to show him some of the spells I was afraid to use. 1 month of suffering later. It had been a month and 11 days since I arrived at the Valhalla Hotel, of which I had been fighting day and night against the Valkyries. Today, I had my weekly duel with Ganilla to see my improvements. I still hadn't managed to beat any of them, but to be fair, they attacked me in groups, so I had faith that 1 against 1, I would have a better chance of defending myself. My fight against Ganilla started like any other, with her trying to crush me in less than a couple of minutes, something she had managed to do the first couple times, but thanks to the psychological terror she had inflicted on me, with attacks at all times, I was on high alert, and thanks to that I was able to keep her away from victory, dodging her attacks, one after another. But dodging wasn't going to win me the fight. If I wanted to win, I had to attack. With that in mind, I curled my hand into a fist and aimed at her nose when the opportunity arose, which thanks to my mana-enhanced body and her predominantly being a close-up fighter came rather soon, pushing my speed to the limit, and with our bodies being a few inches apart, there was nothing she could do to avoid my attack, and so my fist hit the bridge of her nose. Her blood splattered all over the training ground, but she didn't even flinch at that. She simply looked at me, and with something that could only be described as a happy growl of approval, she grabbed my arm before I could pull it back, locking me in place, and hit me straight in the face with a mean left jab. Almost immediately I tasted blood, my blood, as I fell to the ground thinking, "Come on, Adam, you've been fighting her for a month straight now, day and night. Don't let her get the best of you." But before I could process how to recover myself from this, she grabbed my head, her fingers digging into my scalp, and like a rag doll lifted me above the ground, my feet dangling in the air a few inches from the floor, and with a smile that lasted about a second, she slammed her right hand into my ribs with great force, my vision blurry upon impact. I could feel the pain rippling across my stomach, making me feel dizzy, disoriented. But it wasn't over yet. I was not going to go down with a single punch. Willing my body to obey, I threw a fast hook at her with my right hand, which she parried with a left hand, releasing my head in the process. Taking this little window of chance, I forced my body to move mid-air, throwing a sidekick with my left leg, which took her by surprise if the look of her face was anything to go by. The kick hit her right in the ribs and pushed her a few meters to the right. "You going soft on me, love?" I chuckled as I tried to sound as tough as possible, but deep down I was struggling to keep my shit together. That punch she had delivered had done more damage than I had expected. I knew if I closed my eyes even for a second I would fall to the ground. Ganilla looked at me, her eyes ever so mysterious, as an unreadable emotion ignited inside of her. "Maybe I am," she laughed. Taking a deep breath, I rushed at her. I was determined not to lose this time, even if my odds were pretty low. Ganilla smiled, a predatory smile that I had never seen on her before. She was enjoying this? I'm a fucking magnet for crazy. Tak YM Idab Tai 8 Rewap FO 8 Rednut. My spell was simple, covering my body in a magical field of electricity, making me a living taser, adding some firepower to my hand-to-hand arsenal. "Interesting," Ganilla commented, dodging my attacks with relative ease. "It will be a shocking surprise when you hit me, or I hit you," I replied with a lame pun as I continued my assault. Thor POV. From above the training grounds, I watched as my daughter, Ganilla, was fighting my father's guest Adam in an honorable match. I expected nothing less from my fucking daughter. I was proud of her. "Do you think the kid can win?" I asked my father as more beer was poured for me. It was one of those questions people don't expect answers to. "No, not today. In a fortnight, he will win his first fight against her," Odin replied with a laugh. "Ganilla won't be happy at all, but she will be happy, ha." And I was fucking surprised that little shit was going to defeat a trained Valkyrie after a month of training. Ha! I can already tell we will be great friends. I bellowed in laughter, beer dripping to the floor. "He is very friendly." Odin chuckled. "He is going to lose in 10 seconds. "Ow?" I asked, smiling ear to ear. This was exciting. There was nothing better than watching a fight go down. He has highly underestimated Ganilla's pain threshold. While it's true she has no thunder powers like you, she inherited your strength and will. Odin laughed, and then I saw it, Adam electrocuting my daughter, and much to his dismay, this was barely slowing her down. She was feeling pain, all right, I could tell by the look of her face, but years of training had honed her to act through it, as any Valkyrie should. "Fuck," Adam sighed, as Ganilla knocked him out with an uppercut that sent him flying. "I fucking love this kid." I laughed, banging my hammer to the ground as I rolled on the floor laughing. I laid claim to him as my possible new drinking buddy. Our bar fights will be legendary. "Father," Ganilla groaned. Adam didn't say anything funny. Frigg muttered. He is overjoyed at the fact he has found a demigod that lacks all decorum. Like him, Odin snorted. After my defeat at Ganilla's hands once again. "Huh, I'm seeing a pattern here. First Clarice, granted I got my revenge, then Annabeth. I also got my revenge. And now Ganilla. Maybe I'm actually into girls beating me, so I can enact over-the-top revenge plans. I'll have to look into that later. In the meantime, it's time to experiment with my new skill. I knew I could take my mana body enhancement technique to a higher level if I focused on that only. It was clear that I was not an expert on it yet, so there was only room for improvement. The first few days after my defeat, I focused on increasing my overall strength with more mana. But that only backfired because I lacked the experience to control more power than the one I was already controlling, and not only that, it seemed my prepubescent body had a limit on how much enhancements I could get. But I was not going to stop there. There had to be a way for me to improve my skills. And then it hit me. What if I enhanced other parts of my body? Wink, wink, haha, okay, going back to that. What if I enhanced, for example, my eyes to see and process the battle faster? Or my brain to increase my cognitive skills? If this worked, the possibilities were endless. I could essentially turn my body into a living weapon, being able to smell better, to hear better, to see better. So I started to work on that. Starting with my eyes, at first all I felt was a funny feeling like water was running through my eyes, but it didn't bother me as real water would. It was more of a distant sensation, a ghostly touch of something that wasn't there. And while this was, I suppose, a result, it wasn't what I was expecting. Yes, I did feel my mana running through my eyes, but I didn't see any valuable changes. And I'm not going to lie, I almost threw the towel after that, but then I remembered the eyes alone were useless. I had to enhance the optic nerve to see any improvement if it was possible. You see, the optic nerve is a cable-like group of nerve fibers that connects and transmits visual information from the eye to the brain. This information helps the brain process and assess how to react to its environment. So in theory, the faster this information gets to the brain, the faster the brain helps the body react. How'd I know this? Well, when you spend all your life in a hospital and you get 15 surgeries in your eyes, you pick a thing or two. But while this sounded awesome like me, there were a few technicalities in my plan. Like, for example, for me to enhance something, I had to know exactly where it was, or at least have in-depth knowledge about it. In other terms, I had no idea what my optic nerve would feel like, nor I have a medical diploma to help me out. But I wasn't the sexiest demigod for nothing. I know, totally unrelated, but I haven't got a compliment in a while, and with me losing almost on a daily basis, I needed some self-love. Anyway, before I threw the towel once again, I decided to look for outside help. So with my massive intellect, I went directly to the one person I hoped could help me, Odin. He was known for being the most knowledgeable god of his pantheon, and I knew for a fact he would 5 others' knowledge in exchange for something. So I went to him and asked to know everything there is to know about the human body. So, you want me? Odin pointed to himself, and I nodded, to give you all the knowledge there is about the human body. He finished, and once again I nodded. Yep, I smiled, trying to hide my overwhelming desire to clap Ganilla. Non-sexually. You do realize, most people offer an eye to me in exchange for knowledge? Oh yeah, the eye thingy. Not sure want to go full Kakashi. I do. I nodded, wondering what in the 9 realms Odin did with the eyes. But I'm sure you can. I don't know. Sell me that knowledge for a less mutilating price. I smiled. Odin hummed. All right, I'll charge you something else. Mostly because the knowledge you are requesting is not that important, he added with a smile. How about a favor? One day I will call for you, and you'll come to help Asgard, deal? He extended his hand, his eye on me. A bit ominous, and I will probably regret this later on, but oh well, that's a problem for future Adam, deal, as soon as I took his hand. I don't know how to describe it. It kind of felt like someone pushed a fucking library through my ears, and they didn't even have the decency to lubricate my poor ears. Oh God, this hurts. It always does, Odin sighed. I had to rip my eye for all the knowledge in the universe, and between you and me, that was a picnic compared to the pain I felt when Mimir rammed all the knowledge inside my head. He chuckled. Don't worry, just take 2 ibuprofen and you'll be good to go. Ibuprofen? My head feels like I got a spring break hangover. And he is recommending me Ibuf Fusican GPROFEN. That shit never helps. Water is more effective. I roll my eyes at him. What about Odinprofen? is the godly version of it. Odin smiled like a child, and while I took the pills, it was a good joke, so it deserves recognition. I will go to sleep, I said, leaving Odin behind. Next day, the Odinprofen was actually quite helpful. I woke up with no headache at all, ready to practice my ideas, and, well, let's just ha-ha. Ha-ha, ha-ha-ha. It actually worked. I tried these experiments with the Valkyries when they randomly came to attack me and won. I won. I fucking won. Fuck yeah. It wasn't an easy victory, though. It was all trial and error. At first, I discovered only enhancing the optic nerve was useless. Why? Well, no matter how fast your eyes can see something, if your brain can process that something fast, well, it's useless. So for my eye-breaking discovery, I also had to enhance my brain to process the information faster. And it worked like a charm. I was able to react faster to their acts, considerably faster than before, and thanks to that, win. Though this had some side effects like headaches. I will look into that later, alongside my possible revenge getting beat down fetish. Anyway, besides the mild headache I would get after turning off the enhancement, everything worked perfectly. And the best part was that if it worked on eyes, it would work on any other part. Hee wink wink, but seriously, the possibilities were endless. I could boost my lungs or my immune system. I was beyond excited with this. You will rue the day you kicked my ass. 11 times. I laughed as I machinated the beatdown on the century that included, but was not limited to Ganilla saying uncle, me forcing her to hear my theme song, and her being cursed to look like a very feminine ballerina for a month, and not any ballerina. No, one only likes pink, with an extra big fluffy tutu, just to be safe. Mwahahaha. Victory shall be mine. 1 week of training montages later, I was ready to face Ganilla in battle, defeat her once and for all. But first, it was time to enact my over-the-top plan. First, I created an illusion around me that would make me look like a platypus. Then I got a top hat. And then I blatantly modified a song from my childhood years back in my first life. I look like a platypus? I asked to none in particular as I saw myself in the mirror. Check. I then turn around to grab my newly acquired boombox and my new music theme. All right, I have everything I require to win this and get my sweet revenge. With a smile, I ran outside the room, getting a lot of odd stares until I got to the arena, where Ganilla was waiting for me. And let's say she was shocked to see me. What is this? Ganilla pointed at me, while from afar I could see Odin and Thor laughing. Even Frigg was giggling. This, I gestured to my platypus illusion body, is your doom. You pretend to fight me in that form? Ganilla asked. Is an illusion, my form didn't change. I replied, only for her to hear. You will be able to see the real me once we start fighting. Of course, I didn't actually shapeshift to an animal that can't throw a punch. I think, but everyone else will see the platypus. I smiled like a madman, putting the CD I had worked on the boombox. Musical notes, doobie-doobie-doo-bah. 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 Musical notes. And so the fight started. First, I enhanced my optic nerves in my brain, followed my body. With my speed, I approached her and started throwing punches at her while dodging her attacks with relative ease. My brain was processing the information faster than she could punch. Musical notes, he's a semi-aquatic, prank-planning mammal of action. Musical notes at this verse. I smiled, punching her in the face with the force of cannon. Bitches love cannons. You changed, Ganilla muttered, trying to deliver a kick to my side, one that I parried with my knee. Musical notes, doobie-doobie-doo-bah. Doobie-doobie-doo-bah. Musical notes. Well, I have discovered how to cheat my progress. I smiled, getting in a few jabs before having to jump back to avoid her grasp. Musical notes, he's a furry little flatfoot who never flinched from a frye eye. Musical notes. I see, Ganilla muttered. Determined to win this, she decided to take the offensive. But I was expecting this, and with a smile I charged at her with my eyes and brain, as they were. It was easy to avoid her attacks, almost too easy. I still had to know how to act. But still, I wonder if this is how every other normal character felt when Madara was clapping them cheeks. Musical notes, he's got more than just mad skill. He's got a beaver tail and Bill musical notes. Pushing through her attacks, I stepped on her foot, interrupting her footwork, and delivered an uppercut with all my strength that lifted her into the air. This disoriented her. I could see it in her eyes as she struggled to move to avoid a damaging fall. Musical notes and the women swoon. Whenever they hear him say, "I am a true believer of gender equality," musical notes. Taking this chance, I locked her on a hold, my arms around her neck and my legs around her torso. Yield. Musical notes, he's Adam. Adam the platypus. Musical notes. Ganilla trashed around, but soon conceded, declaring me the winner of our first duel. Musical notes, he's Adam. Adam the platypus. Musical notes. Ha ha. Yes. I laughed, helping Ganilla stand up, who was glaring at me. What? I'm both proud and angry at you, Ganilla growled. Did you have to beat me with all of this? Was the song necessary? A warrior doesn't need such things. This warrior does. I gestured to me with a cheeky smile. And yes, it was all necessary. You sent your sisters, the Valkyries, to beat me while I was taking a dump, sometimes even when I was sleeping. I haven't slept for more than 2 hours a day since that day. Do you have any idea how terrifying that was? I asked her, and she said nothing. At that I smiled, lowering my voice a couple notches. If you ever send your Valkyries again after me, in the sanctity of my room, I will curse all of you to look like animals. Illusions, of course, but good luck getting respect when all you see is a chicken with a sword. This was just to show you. I can do it. Fair enough. Ganilla sighed. Oh, I almost forgot. I smiled. This smile wasn't a normal one. No, this one was of pure, unadulterated evil. Enjoy looking like a ballerina. With that, I casted the curse and ran as a platoon of Valkyries chased after me, with their fairy-looking leader, Ganilla, leading the charge. You will truly enter Valhalla today, for today is the day I kill you, Ganilla shouted, and all I could do was laugh and run. The tutu was a nice touch. Sometimes I love my evil genius. Thor POV. When the All-Father said, Adam would beat my daughter soon, I did not expect this. This had to be the most hilarious and ridiculous way to beat someone. He turned into a platypus and defeated Ganilla in less than 3 minutes. Ha 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 ha. Odin laughed. It's settled. You shall be my new drinking/battle buddy. I stated, slamming my hammer to the ground, shattering the marble beneath my feet to dust. This was to let everyone know that if anyone wanted to fight me for the honor of drinking and fighting alongside Adam, this was the time. No one will fight you for the honor, Odin declared, and with a smile and 2 beers I ran to greet my new pal. You are free to try and befriend the kid, he chuckled as he saw me run. Our adventures will echo. After my awesome win against the Valkyries and the awesome chase afterwards, I decided it was time to go back to the camp. It had been some time since I saw Hestia. Though I had a little problem now. Thor, the man literally declared me his best friend and had basically shoved beer down my throat. The man was not like I expected. Then again, Marvel sold a very different version of him. This Thor was vulgar to the point he would fart mid-conversation and act like nothing happened. But I had to admit, he was hilarious at times. But I couldn't stay here. I missed Hestia. I missed her. She was my best friend. Thanks for everything. I thanked Odin. He was a really nice god. Don't worry. Odin chuckled. But if I were you, I wouldn't let Zeus know you were here. He'll get some wrong ideas about why you were here. I looked at him, curiosity surfing in my face. I thought he already knew. I pointed out. Nope. All he has seen is you training in a wasteland close to Ohio. Odin winked at me. Why are you leaving, my friend? Thor asked. I'm needed in the camp. I lied. I see, Thor said, sulking down in sadness. I hanged out 3 times with him. What the actual fuck? Don't mind him, Odin snorted. He is just sad he didn't get to show you his man cave. Okay, I decided to ignore that for the moment. Thanks for everything, Odin. I thanked once again. Take care, child. Odin smiled, and with a snap of his fingers I was outside New York. Neat. I chuckled. He had saved me the trouble of teleporting myself. Now time to walk back to the camp. It took me around 3 hours to get to the camp, where I got a few odd stares from the people around. Oh, they thought I had died during my quest. We didn't expect to see you here again. Chiron galloped to my side. a deep frown forming on his face. Some here assumed the worst. I go out for a month and a half, and they think I died? I tilted my head in confusion. Nobody stays that long on a personal champion quest. And well, returns alive, Chiron sighed. You should go and talk to Lady Hestia. She has been beyond worried for you. I looked at Chiron for a second, before nodding. Once that weird chat was done, I ran to my cabin and opened the door, and as soon as I opened, I was tackled in a fierce hug by Hestia. I thought I killed you, Hestia cried. I couldn't find you anywhere. Great, I made Hestia cry. I'm going to hell now. I'm okay. I hugged her back. I just couldn't contact anyone from there. Asgard was too far away from Midgard for my magic to reach. I'm sorry, Hestia muttered, wiping her tears away, her usual warm smile returning. I just had a bad feeling of you being out radar for so long. As if I would die. I winked at her. Where were you? Hestia asked. Don't tell anyone, but I was in Asgard, I whispered. Hestia's eyes widened in shock. But how? Unless you are a god or of Norse decency, you can't enter. Well, it seems my magic allowed me to enter Valhalla, and I took the opportunity to train there. I chuckled. By the way, they have better things than us. Yeah, the hotel is awesome, Hestia agreed. All our glory and stuff in Olympus. My brother barely pays attention to the camp. Odin is sometimes the opposite. So you know him? I asked. I do. We gods know each other. We have clashed a few times with many pantheons over time. I remember when Frigg came to us, begging every Olympian to promise not to hurt Balder. Days later he died. Hestia sighed. I also remember when Zeus and Odin met. I feared a new holy war was about to start. But Odin managed Zeus's temper very well. Odin is a very good politician, one that doesn't care about his pride if it means getting what he wants. I couldn't really tell if she was complimenting him or not. I see. I nodded. Did they treat you well? Hestia asked. Yes, I had my own room, food, and they let me use their equipment to train. I chuckled, flexing my muscle for dramatic purposes. I see. Hestia giggled. Very impressive. Well, for a 12-year-old it is. I nodded, and Hestia snapped her neck at me and grabbed me by the neck. I'm sorry. When in doubt, say sorry, especially if the person holding you can vaporize you. You turned 12, Hestia asked, and I nodded. And you didn't have a party. This won't do. Hestia is not a big deal, I assured her. I drank some Pepsi with Thor. I smiled. I never had a party before, and I'm okay with that. My response had the opposite effect of what I intended to do. Never had a party? Hestia gasped. I will make sure you have the best birthday ever. It was a wee. I stopped seeing how excited she was, and it was not like she was going to stop. Fine, let's celebrate. I will start working on how to get your sister and brother to your party. Hestia hummed. Oh, I know. Zeus wanted some of my brownies. I will trade them for his permission to let Artemis and Apollo come down to the party. I also have to invite Hades and Persephone, and ban Ares and Aphrodite from coming. So much to do. With that, she teleported in a burst of flames. It seems she's going to enjoy my birthday more than me. She's sometimes too adorable to be an all-powerful being. Knock. I turned to the door and opened it. Standing outside my cabin, two familiar faces were looking at me in contemplation, Percy and Annabeth. Sup? I waved at them. Annabeth, please don't. Percy muttered, and Annabeth smiled. Revenge. Annabeth shouted with mad delight, taking a stink super bomb, one that manufactured to sell out her backpack, and with a swift swing she threw at me. The old me would have been hit by it. But this version of me had to pee while holding a knife in case a Valkyrie tried to jump me. So much to her dismay, I grabbed the stink bomb midair and stared at Annabeth. So, if you can tell in one sentence why you thought this was a good idea, I will let you go free. I smiled at her, holding her stink bomb on my right hand. I thought the element of surprise was what I needed to beat you. Annabeth answered. I see. I chuckled. For your honesty, I will give you 5 minutes to hide. 10 for Percy. He seems to deeply regret this, I said as I saw the fish demigod running with all his might, leaving Annabeth behind. He literally ran the moment I said 5. He didn't even hear if I gave them 5 seconds or minutes. Thank you. I'm going to need all the time I can get to hide from you. Annabeth smiled, and after the failed, pathetic attempt Annabeth had made to try and get back to me, I mean, who the fuck yells revenge before actually getting it? Is after when will people learn? Anyway, after that sad attempt, I was invited by Chiron to the arena to fight and practice my skills without magic. And with my new skills, itching to be flexed, I agreed. My first fight was against my nephew, and went like this. It is I, Lee, Lee proclaimed. I am sorry your fist fight has to be with me. But fear not, I will defeat you as quickly as possible. He ran towards me, and I slapped him out of the arena. Literally, I moved my hand and slapped him with the back of said hand, and he was out. All right, now that the back of my hand is all warm up, who's next? I asked with a confident grin. This result shocked everyone. Chiron was staring at me. Annabeth, in her tampon Halloween costume I cursed her to wear for a month, was also staring at me. Wait. No, she was glaring at me. Oh, okay, it wasn't because of the fight. It was because of the costume. Anyhow, everyone except Annabeth was shocked. It was no secret I wasn't the best at non-magical combat. Percy, you're next. Chiron pushed the Nemo-wearing costume demigod to the arena. And I think we all know why he was wearing that, right? Good. Let's see how you do. Without magic, Percy muttered, not sounding too sure. Come on, Nemo, just keep swimming, I smirked. Percy rushed at me, and like Lee, a single slap was enough to push him out of the arena, though, unlike Lee, Percy was still fully conscious. Since when you are this strong? Percy asked, blood dripping down Nemo's mouth. I eat my veggies and take plenty of juice, I replied, and he took it seriously. Oh, I see. Must be the food Lady Hestia gives you. Percy was sometimes so dense. Are you going to continue the fight? Chiron asked. Nope. Percy shook his head, and Chiron sighed. He bitch slapped me 20 meters into the air. I already have enough stuff to deal with. I don't want fractures in that list. Would you look at that, Annabeth? Percy is wiser than you. I laughed, and Annabeth growled. Well, don't be like that Miss Tampon Beth. You will get your turn once a month. Well, that's it. I'm next. Tampon Beth jumped into the arena. I will kick your ass for old time's sakes. Kinky, I chuckled. Sure, why not? Chiron shrugged, and the fight started. Tampon Beth rushed at me, her sword ready. How predictable. I inwardly chuckled at that. So with a smile, I ran towards her, intercepting her path, grabbed her by the arm, and slammed her to the ground like a sack of potatoes, knocking her out immediately. All right, who's next? I looked around. Luke? Clarice, please tell it's Clarice. I am good, Clarice mumbled. I don't mind giving a shot. Luke smiled, but beneath that smile something dark was shining, something that even with my empathic power off, I could feel it. Well, let's fight, I chuckled. Luke jumped into the arena as Chiron carried Annabeth, and in the blink of an eye he was in front of me, his sword a few inches from my throat. The old me would have lost right there. But the new me not only was more awesome, sexy, and crazy, but had a severe case of PTSD, and using all that, I ducked under his attack. One thing was for sure, he was faster than Ganilla. Me dodging his attack caught Luke by surprise, who then dodged a right uppercut by jumping backwards. Impressive, you have improved beyond what I expected. He complimented, sounding angry. The fuck is wrong with this dude? Well, like I said before, eating all my veggies helps. I chuckled, sticking my tongue out at him. And while I was giving this general vibe, I didn't care. Well, I didn't. I still decided it was best to take him seriously. So I took all my mana enhancements to the limit. An advice worthy to live by. Luke smiled, rushing at me, once again closing the gap between us in the blink of an eye. But this time I was ready, and not only I dodged his blade, but I managed to deliver a jab to his nose, breaking it much to my surprise. Maybe he had yet to bathe on the river of the Styx. So, still want to go? I asked. Luke growled, running at me. This time his intention was not to win, but to kill me. Close your eyes, I advised him, and unfortunately for him, he didn't heed my advice, so I kicked the dirt around to his eyes and disarmed him with a kick, throwing his blade to the side. The gods love you. The campers love you. You get to be recognized by all of them. You get to do whatever you want. Luke muttered, and by the looks of complete me around, I was the only one hearing him. Why you? That cry carried something underneath, a presence that made me shiver out of the feeling of pure malevolence. His voice was now emanating. Kronos. How can I be the only one feeling this? Oh yeah, everyone here besides Hestia sucks ass. Bitch, I'm adorable, and that's why. I replied with a cocky smirk as I ran at him, slamming my fist to his head, knocking him out. Ain't nobody got time to deal with Kronos right now. It seems you became an exceptional warrior during your absence, Chiron complimented. Though your style now closely resembles a Norse berserker, he hummed. I will give all the apples I have in storage if we stop this conversation. Wait, had I done a racist thing? Offering apples to a half-horseman as centaur? Deal. Oh, he took the deal, which means I'm in the green. After my training duels, I was welcomed back to my cabin with totally expected surprise party that somehow Hestia managed to pull out in the span of an hour. Then again, considering she was a god, this wasn't really that surprising. We had fun, and I got a lot of presents. Artemis gave me a hunting knife. Apollo gave me a 70-inch widescreen 4K TV. Hades gave a small set of Stygian iron weapons. And Persephone gave me an underworld servant. As for the rest of the people inside the camp, nobody came. The fact Hades was inside the cabin was more than enough to keep most of them away. Percy and Annabeth came, although they were cursed to look like stupid characters they did. As for the rest of the camp, idiots for real. Avoiding someone as nice as Hades is ridiculous. But nonetheless, I had fun. That was until I learned something, you see. After the party, I saw some campers started to leave, and at first, I was like, oh, they're going on quests, but then I noticed the numbers kept increasing and increasing. Why were so many campers leaving? Wasn't this place supposed to be a permanent type of place? Are you going to stay, or? Hestia asked, seeing my lost gaze at the campers in the distance. I thought this was supposed to be a very camp-like prison, I muttered. Well, the reason no one was allowed to leave before was because of the symbol being supposedly stolen by a demigod, Hestia clarified. I thought you knew that, she hummed. I really need to investigate things more thoroughly. I see. As long as I can get out freely, I don't mind. And to answer your question, no, I will stay. We have a bunch of movies to catch on. I winked and she snorted. That sounds like a plan, Hestia smiled, leaving to the kitchen. Inside, I was screaming, so many plans to gain my freedom back, and it seemed I had achieved it a long time ago. Well, as much freedom the idiot of Zeus allows me, we all know all he sees in us is tools and sometimes booties. All right, time to try my TV, I sighed. Setting the TV was easy, and now I had something inside my cabin besides my multiple consoles that would help me procrastinate. I love putting my responsibilities in the back until they come back to haunt me. As I was watching the rerun of Supernatural with a delicious box of chocolate ice cream, I felt someone approaching. With a sigh, I saw as Luke basically kicked my door down, breaking my TV in the process. That was a 70-inch 4K TV. I inhaled sharply. So how can I help you? You're going to answer me. Why is it that the gods love you so much? Luke sneered, holding his sword to the right. I worked to the bone, and I got nothing. And yet here you come, and in months managed to befriend 2 of the first Olympians. Tell me how. Do you really want to know? I asked, grinning. Yes. Luke growled, his eyes glowing for a second. Do you really want to know? I asked once again. Yes. Luke bellowed in anger. Well, he asked for it. Fuck you, that's how. Ha ha. Luke started a laugh devoid of emotion. No, his laughter had emotions, but they felt heavy, like a wave of despair. Hestia is not here, nor is Dionysus, he stated. And what? I asked with a yawn. I wanted to talk to you. Luke's voice changed to something sinister, more dangerous. It was unmistakable. I was now talking with Kronos. I have seen your deeds for the Olympians, and I have seen how little they give you. You deserve better. Oh. Is this the part you try to seduce me into the dark side? I knew Kronos outclassed me, but he wasn't here. Heck, he didn't even have the power to harm me now. They will never let you fly. They will clip your wings. That's all my son does. Stop anyone with talent and fear they might overthrow him. Kronos said, join me. Rise to be only beneath me. With me, you will always be free. What about my cookies? I asked. What? Kronos said, after a long second of silence, probably processing what I'd said. My cookies, the ones I should get if I join the dark side, I asked. What? I will not dignify that stupid question with an answer, Kronos growled through Luke. What? I gasped. There aren't any cookies in the dark side. The audacity. Then I'm afraid I must say, no, my good sir. I bowed dramatically. Now, if you'll excuse me, I will go and tell Tale Zeus his drunk dad is back. It's a shame, really, but it was to be expected. Kronos smiled, and that made me lose composure for a second. Why was he smiling? I knew for a fact he didn't have enough power to kill me. Yes, he could force my way some nightmares, but that was about it when it came to his current power. Not only that was canon, but I could feel it. His mana was nothing to be afraid of, nothing like Zeus or Hades or even Hestia, and yet he was smiling like he had won. Why? I knew from the moment I saw you that I had to kill you, and unfortunately for you, my pawn can't do that. You surpassed him, but fear not. At that, Luke, or rather Kronos' moving look pulled a crystal. Let me extend you an invitation to my current home, so that we can have a personal conversation. With a smirk, he broke the crystal in an explosion of black shadows, and everything I was feeling was replaced with a sudden sensation I could recognize. I was falling. As I felt the gods know where, I focused on what he had said, his home. His current home. I was falling into Tartarus. I left the ice cream out. The ants will run the place by when I manage to get out of there, I lamented. As soon as my agonizingly long fall to Tartarus ended, I knew I had downplayed this place. The moment I took my first breath, I felt my lungs burn. The air was acid. And atop that shit, the ground was made out of broken glass, able to pierce through anything apparently. So here I was on the ground, coughing blood, thanks to the air, and with my feet and knees bleeding. Oh, God! I gasped, focusing my mana on my lungs and feet, making the acid air and the broken glass floor more manageable. Now, having a better handle on myself, I looked around, noticing the place had a grayish atmosphere made entirely out of living mana that made me feel someone was watching me, or at least could watch me if he or she wanted to. Someone leagues above Kronos. I knew who it was, but the idea of even thinking his name and the fact it could bring his attention to me was more than enough to silence my thoughts. Trying my best shot, I tried to teleport myself out of the realm with my mnemonic magic, but as I expected, it didn't work. Then I tried to see if the chapter of curses and dark arts had anything to help me out, and nothing. No easy way out. It seems I'm stuck here. I chucked, blood dripping out of my mouth, but don't worry. Adam, Hestia, Hades, Artemis, or Apollo will get you out. I had faith they would help me out. Gods could, after all, put and take out prisoners from Tartarus. But in the meantime, I had to focus on surviving and on the way trying to find a way to escape. Right now, I had to adapt to the environment. If I were to fight feeling like someone is melting my lungs, I would die. I opened the book once again, giving it one last good look before I embarked on my most dangerous journey so far. My eyes stopping on the soul-related spells I had previously seen on the book, spells I had personally blacklisted. The spells were disgusting in essence, consuming souls to gain power. Spells straight from Dark Souls universe and other dark worlds. Spells I never wanted to use, spells that went against what I stood for. But could I really keep my morals here? The place monsters roamed free. Did I really have the strength to keep my morals intact? Or would I be forced to do it? I will deal with that when the time comes. I muttered to myself in a low, emotionless chuckle. Hestia POV. I felt as Adam was ripped from this realm. I felt as his connection to me was forcibly broken, and I couldn't do anything. There was only one possible explanation. Some way Adam had fallen to the darkness pit in the world. Tartarus. I immediately went to my brother, Zeus. He could help him. He had the power to bring Adam out of that wretched realm. But what I found shocked me. Zeus was talking with Luke Castellan, the son of Hermes. Luke was telling him how he found out Adam was working with Kronos in secret, and that he had tried to send Luke and everyone in the camp to Tartarus once Luke confronted him with a Tartarus crystal. That was a lie. He was a liar. I knew Adam wasn't a bad kid. I knew it. He was caring, friendly, loving. He was my friend. He is lying. I growled, fire burning the palace down. Anger didn't even begin to describe what I was feeling. Where's Apollo? Nobody could lie to him. I'm here, Apollo muttered, his face contorted in pain. He isn't lying, no. I don't believe it. Some way, somehow. Luke had managed to circumvent Apollo's power. I would not believe Adam betrayed me until he told me that himself. Adam is not what we thought. It's the true. Luckily, Luke here managed to stop him. Zeus said, trying to be soothing. I don't believe any of this. I said, trembling. I curse you, Luke Castellan. I curse you to never feel at home, to never feel full after a meal. I curse you to never feel warm. Hestia, the first Olympian, kick you out the hearth. Hestia, Hermes growled, remove the curses or... I don't like fighting Hermes. You know I love you too much for that. Nephew, but I won't back down. I stated Adam was my friend, the first person that actually cared to talk to me. Because of me. Hestia, I know you are suffering, but... Zeus started, but I glared at him, making him flinch back a bit. He is no longer welcome to my realm. I stated, glaring at Luke, who was shaking behind his father. I won't kill you. I can't. I am unfortunately too kind for that, but when I find a way to clear Adam's name, and believe me, I will let him kill you. Mark my words, child. You made an enemy today. Adam POV. One Tartarus month later. I was crying. For the first time in years, I was actually crying. Everything here hurt, even with mana protecting me. Breathing, walking, the water, even the food, everything was a new way to feel pain. I missed Hestia. I missed my once prison, now warm and loving cabin. I missed feeling healthy. This was worse than when I was sick back in my old life. It had been but a month, and I wasn't sure what to do, nor if I would be rescued before I went mad. Time in Tartarus was different. It flowed differently. A day here could be a second in the realm world, or a second here could be a month outside. How pathetic. I coughed, blood splattering everywhere as I struggled to keep walking. I had learned the first week that staying too much in one place was a bad idea. I almost died fighting a horde of monsters. I had everything I wanted, healthy body, friends, and now I have what I had on steroids. I laugh. This unfortunately made me puke a large amount of blood. This version of Tartarus, sure, wasn't like the one I read Percy and Annabeth endured. I was stronger than them. And I was looking like a soon-to-be-dead guy. Perhaps using those spells wouldn't be so bad. At this point, I would do anything to alleviate the pain. And besides, none of the souls here are souls people will remember or care about anyway. So perhaps, just perhaps, it wouldn't be a bad choice. Tartarus time. 1 minute in the real world equals a month in Tartarus. 2 months. Tartarus was worse than I thought, worse than I could have prepared for. The books did not do this hellish nightmare any justice. The pain that I feel, or rather that I felt before, was overwhelming, and even now that I had adjusted to this harsh and cruel environment with my dark magic, I could still feel my body suffering in silent agony. Soul consumption. It was a spell that allowed me to become stronger in exchange for a soul. A simple yet disgusting transaction. Consuming a soul was terrible, both for the poor soul and the consumer. You can feel their agony as what makes them, well, them disappear inside of you. For a brief moment, you can see everything they've seen, and then nothing, just a cold feeling. It was a truly terrifying spell, one that I had been forced to use to survive. I wanted to survive at any cost, and as a bonus objective, I wanted to kill Luke, so my morals were out the window for now. So, I did what I had to do to survive. I started to consume the souls of the monsters lurking around. And by monsters, I didn't mean things like the Minotaur or the likes. No, I meant people, humans so bad that they had been sentenced to live for all eternity inside the worst realm in existence. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I consumed a living soul from a human living in Tartarus, it haunted me. The cries of despair of the humans, the tears while they begged for their lives. It was something I was not mentally prepared to deal with. I knew they were bad, and the reason they were here in the first place was that they were the worst of the worst, but it still was a hard situation to deal with. But everything must come to an end, and so did my caring. Day by day, their screams and tears started to bother me less and less, to the point I simply stopped considering them humans. For me, they were prey now. They were what kept me alive in this hellish realm. And I would be damned if I didn't survive. As for the pain, it was still there no matter how many hundreds of humans I consumed. The pain would always remain, but it was tolerable now. It kind of felt like I was back to my old body now, not worse, so I suppose it's an improvement. A devourer, a man shouted. His eyes widened in terror. If only he had kept his mouth shut, I would have passed right past him. Boo! I yawned as aimed my hand at him, glowing with a green, almost black color, and shot a blast of mana that destroyed then man. Oh well, I sighed, pulling his soul to me. I then opened my mouth and swallowed the soul, and immediately after the disgusting sensation of despair the man was feeling as my power consumed him shocked me. But what shocked me the most was the new feelings that rushed through my body. This man knew who I was. That much I was able to gather, and his fear for me was overwhelming. Of course, it was I concluded for myself. These people, they all keep some hope they will be able to escape this realm, and I represent a true end, one that eats away their hope. What an ironic result. Sinners now fear me, an innocent man in Tartarus. Even I can see the cruel irony there. The joke is poetic. I laughed, not sure if there was any emotion behind it, but I laughed. 6 months. How long have I been here? 6 months. At this pace, I will end up devouring every human soul inside this realm. Is Hestia even trying to help me? Or was I simply another mere moment in the life of a goddess? Oh, well, look at the bright side. Was there any? Yeah, I'm still alive. Death would be mercy now. No, dying would be the easy way out. I have the tools to survive, and I will survive. I declared as if I was having a conversation with someone. While I was with my inner pessimistic self, who had lost hope in being rescued, I had become stronger than ever, so there's that smile, Adam. Just smile. I reminded myself as long as I smiled. As long as I lied to myself, I would have a reason to keep going. I turned around to see my friend the Minotaur had found me once again. No matter how many times I killed him, he would come back to fight me. I will end you. And yes, he could talk. I was surprised too. Who would have guessed the big sirloin could talk? Must we do this? I asked him, my eyes narrowed at him. I have killed you 78 times. At one point it should get boring. At least for me it did. I could have consumed his essence. The spell worked on him too, but for some reason, I just never did it with any monster for that matter. With a growl, the ferocious Minotaur charged at me in blind rage, thrashing anything in his wake with his might. I hope you taste as good as a steak. I sighed, and with a simple move of my hand, I bound the monster to the ground. If you were more attentive, you would have known that thanks to thousands of souls I have consumed, my magic can easily subdue you. I tapped his forehead with a slight smirk forming on my face. But I suppose you got the brains from your father. I laughed, killing the beast with a swing of my sword, one that I had found in this wretched realm. I then proceeded to consume my first monster, and it was worse than with humans. The Minotaur was rage incarnated, and I could feel him even to his bitter end trying to fight. It felt like I had swallowed lava. 1 year. Consuming monsters was systematically better than consuming sinners. They had more power, more raw material to work with. So since the day I ate Mr. Sirloin, I started to hunt monsters and sinners alike. Funny thing is that as much power as I was getting, the gap between me and some of the titans I had briefly felt was basically the same, which terrified me to no end. If any of them captured me, Kronos would make me suffer for all eternity. Food. I stopped dead on my tracks. Right now I was on my way to nowhere in particular. Tartarus was confusing as hell, but the point is I was walking, and a very familiar voice caught my attention. Food? Well, hello there. I smiled at the sight of the thing that almost killed me during my first mission. So glad to find you here. Food. The blind amalgamation screeched in mad delight, rushing at me. One of us as I shot back, cutting her legs and arms with my sword. This time her movements were slow, painfully so. I wonder, how do you taste like? Food. No, monster. She was afraid. Good. Devourer. No, no, and no. In fear, the monster tried to free itself from my grasp, but failed to do so. You know, food. You monster. Oh, I'm a monster. I chuckled, ripping her soul out. Never heard that one scream to me today. Time in Tartarus equals 1 year. Real world equals 12 minutes. Today was my birthday, once again. Yay, my 152 birthday. At this point, I had lost all hope of anyone rescuing me. But at least I had recovered some of my old self. After devouring millions of souls, be it monsters or humans, I had ascended to a higher plane. I wasn't sure if I was a god, but the harsh environment of Tartarus didn't bother as much as it used to. I would kill for a homemade meal. I miss Hestia. I chuckled, wondering if she even remembered me. The winds outside my cave/house were harsh, almost howling, time to hunt. While I didn't have any hope on others rescuing me, I still had faith to this day I would find a way to escape this nightmare. And yes, I know it took Percy and Annabeth days to escape it, but now I knew the author didn't know. How terrifyingly good was this place to keep its prisoners? Which means there was no way in hell. Sushi Roll and Pennybeth managed to escape this in 9 days. Taking a deep breath, I stood up and walked out of the cave, catching my reflection on the edge of my blade. I had changed a lot. I was a good 6 feet and 6 inches tall. Surprising if you ask me. I thought I was going to be small. As for my clothes, I was wearing stuff I had made with my magic. Otherwise, I would be naked. Which, contrary to most beliefs, makes fighting a bit harder. My face had changed a lot, though. My eyes, they lacked something they once had, but if I had to describe myself, I would say my face had a well-defined jawline, a pair of pencil-thin lips, and a fairly masculine profile that had stayed the same for a long time. I had stopped aging after I turned 25 or something, so since that day, not much had changed. Well, I suppose my eyes had changed that day. They went from brown to hazel, a weird change, but not important enough to investigate. All right, let's see. I described my beautiful eyes, my face. Oh, my hair. I knew I missed something. My hair was still black, and boy, it looked good on me. It helped accentuating my features well. Oh, I almost forgot. Something very important. I have a six-pack now. Heck yeah. What can I say? Training and exercising and eating monsters and human souls alike has given me a sleek, tight featherweight six-pack. And above it, a well-defined chest. Not much to do down here, besides killing monsters and training so. Results are expected. Oh well, I chuckled. Nothing like admiring my sexiness before going on a hunt. I chuckled before sheathing my blade. Knowing it would be a long day, years of hunting and eat monsters had given me a reputation down here. Monsters and sinners alike feared me and would avoid me at all costs, and I couldn't blame them. But that only left the impossible targets like the Titans, the Gigantes, and the Primordials out in the open. Beings with enough strength to still trash me like a bitch if I took a wrong turn, and I was not ready for that. With a sigh, I shook my head and decided to focus on the matter at hand. But then I felt something. One of the big fishes was moving. I guess I won't find any souls today. I muttered, feeling that Hyperion the Titan of the heavenly light was on the move once again. He was my predator, you could say. Unfortunately for me. Every predator has a predator. That's the natural order of things. Kronos had ordered Hyperion to capture me. At least I assumed as much, and like the good obedient bitch he is, he accepted. Unfortunately for him, I was very good at not being captured and killed. But unfortunately for me, hunting with that monster around was a big no. I almost got captured 20 years ago. And well, let's say reattaching an arm is not as painless as anime makes it seem, nor as easy. Oh well, I sighed, going back to the cave. Hestia POV. I have never been in Tartarus, and while needless to say it was a place even gods would avoid, but I had to rescue him, and for that reason, I had begged Hades to help me. At first, he was reluctant. I knew he didn't want to believe Adam was a traitor, but Hades was so used to betrayal, to people backstabbing him, that he let himself for a brief moment believe Adam was fake. But I knew my little brother, and I knew it was bigger the part of him that believed in our friend, so at the end, it was easy to convince him. Persephone helped a lot in that, saying she never liked the little shit of Luke to begin with. Do you really believe he's innocent? Hades asked. He sounded hurt. Hurt at the prospect he opened himself to someone, and that someone might have used him. I know he isn't guilty. I declared I believed in him. His words had to be honest. They had to. I refused to believe he tricked everyone. I refused to believe his smile was fake. I know it. Well, it wouldn't be the first time Zeus fucked up. Hades chuckled humorlessly. Very well, let's do this. If we are lucky, if he is lucky, the time dilatation curse in that realm will have not affected him. If it did, and was still alive when he arrived, there is no telling if we will find him alive or not. What do you mean? I asked, trembling at the idea. that all we would find was his corpse. Well, each person lives Tartarus in their own way. For some, a second there will be a millennia here. For others, a second here will be a millennia there. It all depends on who's suffering and what they fear the most, Hades stated, his lips forming a thin line in contemplation. So, in other terms, if Adam is affected by that curse and he fears being alone, he will... I gasped. How long had I let him suffer there? How long? I just want you to know, there's a big chance we won't find him alive, Hades muttered. If the time curse affected him, there's a big chance that if he didn't die fighting the monsters around, he died of old age. But doesn't that curse only affect immortals? Persephone asked, tears forming on her green eyes. You told me that the curse was put there to make immortals suffer more. Yes, but if he entered Tartarus like I think he did, there's a big chance Kronos made it, so rescuing him would be impossible. Ergo, putting a curse that would kill before anyone managed to clear his name, Hades clarified. I know he's alive. I would not stop believing in my champion. I couldn't. Then he didn't get the curse, Hades sighed. Even if he did, I know he's alive, I stated. Then that would mean Adam was a god, or somehow ascended inside that realm, Hades replied. Let's make haste. Every second we spend talking is time he is suffering there. Thanks for helping me, and for believing in me. I hugged him. Don't worry, Hades smiled, ruffling my hair. I would have come for him eventually, after my paranoia ceased. You simply pushed me to that faster. And besides, I know what it's like to be betrayed, and I know what Adam must be feeling right now. And no one deserves to feel like that. No, no one does, I nodded. Time spent on Tartarus, 140 years. Real world, 28 hours. I awoke to the sound of Hyperion moving again, this time closer to my humble home, which meant it was time to move. Once again, fucking oversized simp. I muttered, hastily jumping out of the bed to gather my belongings, among them my grimoire, my diary, and my sword. My diary contained a detailed recap of what I had lived inside this hellish prison so far, from day one to today. It was a therapeutic way to deal with the horrors of this realm, horrors I would try to downplay to keep my sanity. No food, acid water, and everlasting nightmares. This place was designed to drive anyone inside insane. And to a point, I think the prison had done its job. And while I loved to tell myself I was not crazy, well, I now had a higher killer count than Hitler. I could feel their pain every time I closed my eyes, and at the same time I didn't care. I don't know how that made sense, but it was what it was. All right, I sighed, grabbing my stuff, running out of my cave. For what I could feel, Hyperion was close, too close for my liking. I still had nightmares after a first brief encounter. He was too strong for me to handle for now. I estimated I would be able to fight him in about 200 years or so if I continued to consume souls at the pace I was going, but for now, I had to run. As I ran through the grayish ground, I felt two strongly familiar presences approach in my direction, Hestia and Hades. Could it be? Had they come to break me out of here? No, remember. 85 years ago, Tartarus. I remembered that day, the day the nightmares started to take forms that could hurt me. I woke up to find Hestia, Artemis, Apollo, Hades, and Persephone in my home at the time. I was elated and did what I had wanted to do for years, hug them. They had come for me. But I soon discovered Tartarus likes to give hope, so then it can later crush it. They were all fakes, illusions, tricks this prison was used by taking information from my mind. Since that day, I have lost count of how many fake Hestias I have killed, how many fakes I have eliminated to keep my mind at ease. And the funny thing is, it pained me to do so. I wanted them to be real. Oh, I have to admit, this time, Tartarus is going all out for me. I whistled. Their presence felt real, more than the last attempts this prison had done to break me. Perhaps the punishments were simply evolving as I grew. This place was after created to break anyone, so it's only safe to assume it will stop at nothing to break me. I inwardly smiled as I ran through the volcanic wastelands that one would think they were a landmark, but they're not. They just pop out whenever they feel like it. Anyway, I ran through the volcanic wastelands towards the fakes. If there was one thing I was not going to allow this fucking prison was to break me, at least not more than I already was. boosting my already abnormally high speed with mana. I reached their location in a few seconds, where I stood above them, looking down from a cliff. "Hello there," I greeted, a somewhat cynic smile on my face. The fake lookalikes turned their gazes upon me, shocked. Well, that was new. Normally they would start trying to remind how much of a failure I was. "Adam," the Hades fake muttered in shock. I couldn't accept this insult to what I once loved and still love, so I cut his already predictable speech about how I should give up with a violent mana blast. To my surprise, the fake deflected the attack with ease, his face showing concern. "I'm impressed. It seems this time behind this cruel illusion there is a real warrior." I chuckled. "Adam, how many have you killed?" Hades asked. "Fake, you couldn't possibly fathom the amount of dead bodies behind me," I replied darkly, jumping to the ground level. "Now, let's skip the chat where you tell I should kill myself, and go straight to the part one break you two apart," I snarled in disgust. "Adam," the fake Hestia cried. This only added salt to the injury. They felt so real. "I'm sorry," Hades muttered, and moving faster than I could see trying to punch me. These fakes were strong, stronger than me, but I was not going to leave until I killed them. No illusion would torture of them would torture me. "No!" Hestia screamed, grabbing Hades by the wrist and stopping his attack before it even reached me. "No, he has suffered enough." There they were again, her tears. "Remarkable," I laughed. I must admit this place sure know how to keep me on my toes. I didn't know why, but I found myself crying, tears falling down my cheeks. "Now, you will have to either K." I was stopped when I saw Hestia moving faster than I could possibly defend myself against. But instead of attacking me like I had expected, she hugged me. Her hug felt warm, protective, yet fierce and sad. "It's okay," Hestia whispered to my ear, her voice carrying more sadness than it should be allowed. How could they make her fake break out of character? She is supposed to always be happy. "I'm here," she added in a soothing tone. This is not fair." I cried. This was not fair. Using her image. Why was this place doing this to me? This was not fair. "Everything will be all right," Hestia soothed. "I won't let you suffer down here anymore." Well, Tartarus had finally done it. Well done. It had broken me, tearing what little of resolve I had left as I hugged what could be my end in tears. It seems I wasn't as strong as I thought I was. I woke up to find Hades, Hestia, and Persephone talking. Hestia was brushing my hair like she would normally do in our movie nights. Was this real? It had to be. Besides, Adam, if this is fake, is better than the alternative. Remember the motto, always look to the bright side. "So, sorry," was the first thing I said. I had, after all, attacked them, thinking they were fake. Hestia looked at me, smiling. "I'm sorry." Tear threatened to fall down her cheeks. "I had no idea you would suffer this much." I wasn't really mad at her. Well, at one point I was thinking they had all forsaken me. But how could I be mad at her? She's the nicest person I know. It's okay. I know there must be a reason why you guys didn't get me out sooner. "Adam, that's the thing. Since you left L, it has only been 25 hours, Hades sighed. "Nothing has changed. It has only been a day since you entered Tartarus. A day, 140 years. I assume from our violent encounter Tartarus was torturing you with illusions of us, right?" Hades asked, and I nodded. "I thought as much, and sorry for trying to knock you out. In the end, all we needed was Hestia to hug you. Quite a lethal weapon she has there," he smiled, winking at me. "Have you actually hugged her?" I chuckled. "It's like hugging a heater without burning. It's the best feeling ever. I do get the best hugs," Hestia proclaimed, puffing her chest out proudly. "All right, not that I'm not glad he's alive, but I will address the elephant in the room. Is he or is he not a god?" Persephone asked, and, well, it was a good question after consuming so many souls had my body changed to withstand my newfound power. "How old are you now, Adam?" 153, I muttered. "No, he's not a demigod either. Not anymore." Hades hummed, answering Persephone's question, pressing his lips into a thin line. "He is somewhere between demigod and god. Kind of like in the middle." I knew I should have gone for a more fiber-oriented diet. I chuckled. "That's another thing I wanted to ask. How many souls did you consume?" Hades asked, his voice carrying a tone of doubt. "I don't know. I stopped counting after the million. I answered, and both Hestia and Persephone gasped. As soon as I got to that place, my world rule was kill or be killed. I see, perhaps that was the catalyst to your slow metamorphosis into a god. Hades nodded, his arms crossed. I had no other option, I added, a weak smile forming on my face in trepidation. I tried for a month to survive with my own power, but the environment was too harsh. I needed power, and soon my need to survive overwhelmed my morals. Nobody is blaming you. Hestia smiled, an honest smile that said, I know you are still you. I know if you had any other option, you would have taken it. All right, now that I know time has not moved at all since I left, can someone lead me to the exit? I have a demigod to kill. Luke had at one point my pity, not anymore. I was going to kill that little shit. We can't let you leave, Hades sighed. The little bastard played his cards and told Zeus you were in an alliance with Kronos. The god's hand curled into a fist, anger radiating from him. And they believe him? I asked. This had to be a bad joke. Yes, Hestia nodded, her gaze lost as if looking right through me. Luke somehow found a way to lie to Apollo, and they all believed him. Don't worry, though. Hestia cursed him for good. Persephone muttered angrily. If it were up to me, I would have the little shit down here, strapped to a table, making him scream. I know that wasn't supposed to sound sexual, but I snorted, getting a few playful punches in the arm by both Persephone and Hades. All right, I get it. So, I'm a fugitive. Well, at least until my name is cleared. Yes, Hades nodded. For now, it's best to save your time to find a way to prove he's a traitor. Me? I asked, bursting into a fit of laughter. I will not do such a thing, why would I? If Zeus was that stupid to let someone lie to him so easily, he was asking to be killed. I will let them figure that out themselves. As for me, I will either stay here if I'm still welcomed, or I will go visit Odin. I see, Hades nodded. I understand your rage. The sense of betrayal by your own kin, your brother, and your sister, I understand it. So, I will support your decision. But Hades, Persephone began, but Hades cut her abruptly. But what? The only thing he will get is hate from others, knives of his back, looks for his own family. And only because he was doing his job. Zeus will never be happy with what he does, and nothing he does will ever be enough for those bastards. No matter what we do, we will never be accepted by them. Because we're not treacherous snakes, so why even try? Hades was crying? Oh, honey, Persephone hugged him. I'm sorry, I might have projected some of my problems in there, Hades smiled. The point is, he is free to make his decision, and we should all support it. Yes, we should, Hestia nodded, giving me a fierce hug. Good how much I missed her hugs, her smell, her smile. I couldn't believe how much I missed Hades and his sense of humor, or Persephone and her antics. But we should still do something about Kronos. Relax. I winked at them. Luke will have to reveal himself as a traitor if he wants to actively start helping Kronos. So, when the time comes, I will kill him. That much was a promise to myself. Luke would die, screaming like a bitch. The moment his daddy issues brought into this was the day he offered his life to me. After debating with my friends, aka Hades, Hestia, and Persephone, we came to the conclusion it was best for me to go to Asgard. For one, gods usually go to the Underworld for various reasons, and if one saw me, things would not end well for me. But in Asgard, I would be safe out of Zeus's grasp. So, I teleported there. With my new power, long-range teletransportation was easy, barely an inconvenience. Inside the hotel, I was soon greeted by a squad of Valkyries who tried to apprehend me. Poor souls didn't see the bitch slaps coming. Oh well. After knocking out every single warrior that stood in my way, I went to the gardens where Odin could usually be found chatting with his two crazy ravens. And like I had predicted, Odin was sitting on his usual spot, feeding his ravens. Adam, how was your time in Tartarus? Odin greeted, not even looking at me. An awful place, been there a couple of times for research purposes. You knew? I asked. I knew he knew almost everything. But my question was more along the lines of, did he knew beforehand? I did. Nasty business. Odin nodded. I foresaw your fall into the pit and tried to see if I could help you. But every time I intervened, the visions would change. And you would end up dying at the hands of Zeus or Hermes, even a few times at the hands of your sister, he sighed. So I opted to let things play out this way. You were destined to live. It was for the best, I think. I was still processing the fact my sister would have killed me. Out of curiosity, does Apollo ever kills me? It was a morbid and a somewhat self-harming question, but I wanted to know. Son boy? Oh yeah. Many times, the only constant in my visions was Hestia protecting you. In more than a few, I saw her fight against the gods for you. Alas, she was outnumbered and swiftly dealt with in each scenario. I don't know why, but even under the news my sister and brother would have not hesitated to kill me. I smiled, knowing that no matter what scenario, Hestia believed in me. I see, I sighed. Interesting path you chose, eating the souls of the residents. Odin hummed, rubbing his hands together. It certainly increased your power by a big margin. I don't think anything below a god could take you on now. Well, to be honest, I expected to gain more power, considering the amount of souls I consumed. I expected more than what I have, I stated, wondering how bad would this conversation sound to others. Oh well, that's because you suck at managing the vast amount of power you acquired. Right now, you are like a hose with hundreds of holes. In the end, you're not working as you should. Odin turned to me and smiled. You're still operating your body as if it was mortal, so you, instead of utilizing all the power you have, you are barely using 30% of it. The rest is leaking of you. I see. It seems I was using my powers in the wrong way, which was an expected result with my luck. Don't beat yourself up with that. Odin chuckled. Considering you gained such amount of power in such short time, it's easy to see why you can't fully control it. Even the Olympians had to train before defeating the Titans, he winked, standing from the chair. Even I had to train before I became what I am today. Zeus training, I snorted. If dipping his thunder in every wet cloud counts as training, then the man is a master. Dipping his Odin howled in laughter, stomping his feet into the ground. Good to know you haven't lost your touch. So, can you train me? I asked, and Odin shook his head. I would not make a good teacher for what you need. You need someone who struggled to reign his abnormally high power. Odin smirked, and I narrowed at him. For some reason, I felt I was not going to like what he was about to say next. The one that will train you and make you a great warrior is Hilgi. So, I'm off. I was not going to dignify that with a reaction. Maybe it was time to meet other pantheons. Perhaps the Egyptian pantheon, probably the next best option. R.A. was known to be a powerful wizard. All right. Can't let an old man have his fun. Odin rolled his eye in clear amusement. The ones I want to train you are my sons, Heimdall and Thor. For a moment there, I thought you were about to tell me how I wasn't dealing with the average pimp anymore. I snorted. Haha. Well, no. Anyway, Thor suffered from a similar problem when he was young, too much power, and had to learn how to control it. And as for Heimdall, he will help you learn how to control your new heightened senses. I eyed Odin in curiosity, new senses. I felt pretty much the same, but stronger. I know what you're thinking. What heightened senses? Well, once you get full control over your power, your body will adapt to it, changing the way you perceive things, meaning everything little human sensation will go off the charts, smell, taste, and, well, you get it. Odin chuckled. Heimdall is the best to help you adapt to that. He among us has the best control over his senses. So, I was going to be trained by two of the most powerful gods around. Perhaps my luck is turning for the better. All-Father. That voice. It seems Ganilla had woken up from the bitch slap I had given her on my way here. There's an intruder in the hotel. Oh, Ganilla. Is that a way to address your crush? Odin teased. Adam. No. Ganilla tried to correct herself after her delicious blunder, but she was too late. I was going to milk this. I was going to enjoy messing with her. Ha ha, mwah ha ha. Mwah ha 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 ha. I am back, bitches. Learning to control my power was not as easy as I expected. Thorwall, an eager teacher, was an awful teacher. His analogy to control my new power was that it was like holding a fart. Needless to say, I knew I would have to learn how to control my powers on the go, trial by fire. It wasn't so bad, though. With him, I had someone I could go all out. Of course, I would lose each time, but I feel each spar I learned something, be it small or big, that was still yet to be seen. As for Heimdall, well, he was odd. Not a bad odd, but it wasn't a good odd either. He was a weird god, But regardless of his weird personality and habits, he was a great teacher, eager to follow the orders of his father to the letter, meaning he was very happy to train me. As for his methods, they were somewhat unexpected. For him, a warrior had to be calm and chill. I am quoting the guy, and while I can get on board with that, his methods to teach me how to control my other senses to their absolute limit were very weird. His training consisted of napping, watching movies, meditating, and listening to podcasts. For each of these activities, he would take a sense away. But I suppose, in the end, I was having fun. And while I still had to learn how to do what both Heimdall and Thor had to teach me, I had learned a few things. For one, I would rather fight Thor than Heimdall. While I knew Thor was vastly superior to his brother right now, fighting Heimdall was a pain in the ass. The bastard was a master at avoiding. He would literally dodge for hours in our spars before he decided to attack. Thor, on the other hand, he was a berserker. He would go in, tank my attacks, and laugh while kicking my ass. Why did I pick Thor? Well, my attacks connecting with him give me a fragile sense of achievement. I heard my daughter likes you. Thor smirked, his arms crossing around his chest. I approve of that fucking union. Let us drink. Not gonna happen, Thor. I roll my eyes at him. I am about 100 years older than her. Give it some time, Thor added with a burp. If not, we can always find you another woman. The All-Father knows we need you to get laid. 100 years and still a virgin. That won't do. I looked at Thor in annoyance, of course. I was a virgin. There's not much to tap in Tartarus. It will happen when it happens, I replied. I know some bar girls that would ride you fucking dry. Thor bellowed in laughter, slapping me in the back to add a point. They would love a young god, well, almost godlike you. Thor, I will get laid, but it will happen when it happens. Right now, I have other things to do, like killing Luke. I inwardly smiled at the thought of ripping Luke apart, piece by piece, maybe flaying him alive. That ought to make things interesting for me. That's why I need to get some. Thor winked. I swear, sometimes I think you are the deity of frat houses. I sighed. I maybe. Thor shrugged. So, want to go to New York? Or Boston? All right, let's go drink and see what girls you have in mind. I sighed, a weak smile forming on my face. Yes. Fuck yeah. Thor barked. I'll be back in a few. I need a few things before we go fuck the city. And with that, he teleported out of the room. So fucking the city. I didn't even have to turn to know it was Ganilla. Never seen him so happy to wingman another guy. I'm pretty sure both Pantheons are betting on win, and with whom I lose my V-card. I chuckled. Do men have V-cards? Ganilla chuckled. I maybe. I shrugged. So, how you doing, fangirl? I winked at her. If you want to keep both eyes attached to your face, stop that, Ganilla growled. Kinky, I chuckled. I hate the fact you became stronger than me. Ganilla sighed. My threats bounce off you now. I snorted. Your threats never worked on me. Maybe, but at least before I had the power to carry them. Ganilla admitted with a sigh. Whatever you say, fangirl. I chuckled. It was one time. I was drunk and said you were cute. And now, the Honorable All-Father is not letting that die down. I could see her struggle. She was fighting with every inch of her life to not insult Odin. I know what can make you feel better. I smiled, snapping my finger with magic. No, I will not be humiliated again in that manner. Ganilla shouted, running out of the room as I transformed into Agent P to kick her ass. P stand for pranks. He's a semi-aquatic parking laying mammal of action. No. Ganilla growled. I wonder if this will ever get old. I snorted, running after her. Odin POV. Adam was getting stronger alarmingly fast. If he continued the path he would ascend to godhood soon. He might not notice because he's fighting not only the strongest god in our pantheon on a daily basis, but Heimdall, the most annoying god to defeated thanks to his powers. He will surprise Zeus next time they see each other. I chuckled. How will that end? Hugin cawed in curiosity. Well, Zeus will be humiliated. I chuckled. I still don't understand why. Why do you risk so much with him? If the Greeks find out, a holy war will break. Munin cawed worryingly, her wings ruffling in concern. Well, you see, some prophecies have two sides. In one of those scenarios, he ends up destroying the world. And on the other side, if I stop that terrible prophecy, well, let's just say that in that case, we're currently building political relationships with the next king of Mount Olympus. If I played my cards right, we would be winning a valuable ally. But for that, he had to be strong, strong enough to resist his father. After going out with Thor and ending in a hotel with a bunch of naked sorority girls, I came to the conclusion Thor was right. I needed to get laid before today. I was lacking focus. My work had become mundane, but now I had inspiration, ideas, passion. For those that had yet to understand what I am saying, my pranking powers have been completely replenished. So, I started to plan my master plan to bother one of my preferred pranking targets, Percy. First, I found a school he was currently going to. I made a totally legit resume and applied to his school, where I immediately got hired. Again, through totally legit means, it wasn't like I used my magic to force the principal to hire me without following the due process. Me doing that? Please. All right, I did that. After I created my persona, this was the hardest step. It had to be perfect, flawless in every way, so I did what any person in my situation would have done. I smashed my head on the keyboard, creating something entirely random, FRNCSCHJKHKJH. And so my name was created. Why did I pick a random name? Well, you'll see. Welcome, Mr. The principal stopped, not knowing what to call me. Mr. F will do for now, I said, repressing a giggle. Good. Mr. F, we are glad to have you here. Your resume and credentials are impressive, the principal smiled. Indeed, I nodded. Now, please point me to the classroom where I have to be. It seems I am rather late as it is. Of course, the principal nodded, giving me the directions I needed. I mean, I could have used magic to know where Percy was, but I was in character for now. Thanks for your assistance, I smiled. Please go by my office later. We still have to discuss about your salary and where to deposit your checks. The principal called out, please, as if I was here for a public school teacher salary. Donate that to charity or something. I shot back and entered, my classroom. As soon as I entered, I noticed something. Percy was not the only magical creature in the classroom. There was another magical creature within my parking territory, a Cyclops. It was quite easy to recognize what type of creature he was. I had, after all, 800 of them in Tartarus. Hello, students. My name is FRNCSCHKHKJH, but you can call me Mr. FRNCSCHKHKJH. I decided to ignore the Cyclops for the moment. If he was here, and he wasn't eating Percy, then he was either biding his time, or it was Tyson. I will be your history teacher for the duration of the school year. Do you have any questions? A girl rose her hand, and I nodded. How do you pronounce your name? Ms. Valentine S.R., the girl replied. Very well, Ms. Valentine. My name is pronounced as you heard it the first time, so try to recall that memory. I was doing my best Snape impression. Now, we will start the class with something I like to call the War Chronicles of Germany. I smiled as I saw the panic face of Percy. He had heard his primal fear creeping out had shown that little did he know he would be the only one to hear them. After 8 hours, including detention of messing with Percy, I went back to Valhalla to continue my training, and I had to admit, not messing with Annabeth made this whole ordeal less the ideal. Messing with Percy felt at times empty of emotion. I suppose if I get bored of giving him assignments about Batman and stuff, I can always just bother Ganilla. I saw your hotel room. Nice, Thor smiled. I haven't seen that many blondes in a room since the 80s, he laughed. Already fucked, so tone it down. I sighed. Now it's just weird. Fine. Thor rolled his eyes. Maybe this will make your day. He smiled and I panicked. I knew that smile. No, I was too late. The moment I tried to run, the god of thunder farted, or rather released his greatest thunder. Oh, God. It smells awful. Thor took a deep breath through his nose and shrugged. Not my best work. I have pushed worse out of my rear. This one is weak. Maybe I need more spicy food. This was a weak fart. Impossible. It felt like someone entered my nose and set everything on fire with a tiny flamethrower. Railkorea. Oh, my mighty fart is gone. Thor blinked. Good. Let me cook a fart worthy of the strongest Norse god. He laughed, teleporting to God knows where. All right. It seems it's time to enchant my nose to only smell lavender. Dark times were coming, and Thor was going to fart them out. Luke Castellan POV. Adam had escaped. Kronos had felt it, and, according to my lord, Adam was now stronger than ever before, with a power no demigod could match. And even then, for some reason, Kronos had said he wasn't a threat anymore, that Adam would not interfere with his revival, that the one we had to kill was Percy as soon as he went back to the camp, that without Percy his resurrection was secured. I don't understand, my lord. Why is Adam not a threat anymore? I asked. I had to know. His power now was on the lines of God. Why was he less of a threat now that no demigod could match him? You have a lot to learn, brat. Kronos laughed. I did what I did to create a rift between him and Olympus. Yes, I wanted to kill him, but the brat managed to escape Hyperion and survive the pit. He even made a name for himself down here, the Devourer, and while my original plan was to get rid of him, this result is not bad. He hates almost every Olympian, except for a few lucky ones. And if we play our cards right, we might even have a way to force him to obey. Ow! I inquired. Well, kidnapping Hestia is a start. With her in my clutches, the new upcoming soon-to-become god will become my loyal attack dog. Kronos cackled. I continue my training, mostly training with Thor and Heimdall during the nights, making minor breakthroughs on my control, while on my own side, I studied the management of spiritual energy, mostly because I had the theory that my power was basically spiritual energy, since it was acquired through the souls of millions of beings. The book was both very clear and descriptive about the consumption of souls and the spells for it, and at the same time confusing with the information about said spells, but at least it explained the cons of obtaining power through souls, saying that the more souls were consumed, the longer it would take the body to adapt to them, since the power in question had not been obtained naturally. The body would always be behind in terms of catching up. I suppose, in the end, everything came down to waiting. Well, anyway, as for my day job as a teacher, while I've been enjoying myself a bit too much, trolling Percy was still not as fun as trolling Annabeth. But it would do. As for his little Cyclops brother, Tyson, he was too innocent for me to target. I had standards, and he felt like a baby, trusting, always happy. It kind of reminded me of me. I mean, at least in the part, he always tries to see the happy side of things. And seeing him made me wonder, was I still the same? Was I still as positive and full of wonder as I was a few decades ago? Well, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. Going back to Tyson, he was a very nice kid. And for Cyclops, it was weird. Normally, Cyclops are aggressive, fueled by one thing, and one thing only, hunger. Tyson, on the hand, was hungry, but of attention. And it now pained me to admit I could somewhat understand Luke. The gods have too much leeway under the pathetic pretense of them protecting their children. And then they would only interact with their kids when an apocalyptic event was on the horizon and they needed fucking soldiers. I understood why Luke hated them. But unlike Luke, I was not stupid enough to hate all the gods for that. I knew, or wanted to believe, my mother Leto wouldn't have given me away if she was allowed to keep me in the first place, but that was not the case. Rules stopped that from happening. And if those rules were ever broken, Zeus would kill both parties without hesitation, and nobody wanted to defy the overpowered whoremonger. He was the king for a reason, and that reason was not his brain. The reason he ruled was his immense and unmatched power. He ruled for that reason, and that reason only. If someone like Hestia or Hades ruled instead of him, the Greek pantheon would be totally different. No, that wouldn't work. Most of the gods under Zeus not only follow him out of fear but greed. If someone like Hestia were to take the crown, many of them would not hesitate to kill her, Hera among them. The only way to reform the Greeks was to have someone of Zeus's caliber or higher with a good set of morals, someone strong enough to keep them in line for all eternity. But that's just wishful thinking. I chuckled mostly to myself. It was not like I was going to find someone like that on a Happy Meal. But the point was that I understood Luke's pain, but I would never approve of his methods. The idiot was short-sighted by his hate. Why would he trust a man that ate his children? That's outright worse than ignoring them like the gods do with us. Kronos would not keep his end of the deal. How can't he fail to see that? Mr. F. Percy snapped me out of my long reverie. I finished my assignment in German war theory. Thanks, Mr. Jackson. I nodded without looking at him, feeling a few new magical signatures entering the school. They weren't a threat. In fact, they were painfully weak, which meant they didn't infiltrate the school for me. But for Percy or Tyson, intriguing. If you excuse me, I have to find something in the lockers. Would you mind watching the class and taking note of whoever misbehaves? Me? Percy inquired. Shocked, the teacher asked him to do something of importance. Most teachers here hated him a lot. I would hear them tell me how much they wanted Percy to go, which meant that even with all my trolling, I had become Percy's favorite teacher. No, the other Percy Jackson under my desk. I deadpanned. Of course is you. I roll my eyes at him. Will do my best. Percy nodded. Happy. Way too happy to help. Holy me. How bad teachers treat demigods at a simple task is seen as an offering of some kind. Very well, I said as I left the classroom. Going for the intruders, was I going to kill them? Perhaps. I guess it will all depend on my mood. It took me 45 seconds to find the intruders, mostly because I stopped in a vending machine to get a chocolate bar. I like chocolate anyway. The ones that had infiltrated the school were Laestrygonian giants, nasty but incredibly weak monsters, well, compared to monsters like the Minotaur and others. Hello there, I greeted with a smile, hiding my magical presence. Shouldn't you kids be in class? We were our own way, teacher, the leader replied. His tone denoted his mouth was watering at the idea of taking a bite of me, and I was hoping they tried. Good, be sure to behave, kids. I smiled. For now, I would let them live and see how they acted. Perhaps I could play with them a bit before ending off, or I could let Percy deal with them. Either way, they were not leaving this school alive, which is what 90% of the students want, which reminds me, I need to talk with the principal about that. This school is like a depression ad. Weeks passed, and the monsters that had infiltrated the school had done nothing. Way to waste 3 fucking months by keeping an eye on them. Well, I suppose they had been doing something, bullying kids and shit, but nothing worth me interfering. Tyson was their primary target. They would bully the kid mostly because he would never fight back. But I suppose in a way I did learn what they wanted from the school, not that they had many things here to look for. Anywho, they wanted to kill Percy, but so far they hadn't had the chance to act, but I knew they wanted him. Every time Percy moved, the monsters would follow him with their eyes, hunger and anticipation creeping on their magical signature. Now, many might think, why haven't I killed him yet? Well, frankly, Percy has to learn how to fight his own battles, and that chance would come today, it seemed. Allow me to explain. After 3 months of teaching Percy things out of Wikipedia, I had caught, or rather started to feel the barrier around Camp Half-Blood was weakening, but unlike in canon, Luke was still in the camp, meaning my presence had derailed the original plot more than I had previously anticipated. Because of that, Pennybeth was on her way to the school to retrieve Percy, and I was here, waiting to troll her. Hello, young lady. I greeted Annabeth, who was wearing a magical item to hide her presence from normal humans. What can I do for you? Annabeth froze, not knowing what to do, and I smiled. Behind her, I had created an illusion of a random girl to throw her out of the loop. Hi, Mr. F. Annabeth turned around to see the illusion of the girl I had created and sighed with relief as she walked past me. This was going to be fun. Where do you think you were going? Sneaking up to the school. I scolded, and once again Annabeth froze, seeing a realistic illusion dog behind her this time. Miss Pennybeth, you know you can't go inside the school without your cute little shoes. I smiled, seeing how Annabeth's eyebrows twitched at the mention of her famous moniker. In the meantime, I played the innocent part as if nothing had happened, all while I put the small fake shoes on the small fake dog. I can't fucking believe it. Annabeth breathed out in relief and exasperation as she was again started to sneak inside the school. Oh, she was making this too easy for me. With a smile, I created another illusionary teenager. You can't fucking believe what, young lady? I asked, making my best impression of a serious teacher, try to teach his young Padawans a lesson. Annabeth once again froze, turning to see me while in the process, biting her lower lip so hard in frustration I was afraid she was going to rip it out. Behind her stood a girl, an illusion that said, I am sorry, Mr. F. I just... generic teenager thing dash. And while I couldn't believe it, well, as long as you don't do it again, I will keep it between us, I chuckled. This school is too bizarre, Annabeth muttered, and needless to say it took her 3 hours to reach Percy. I had a lot of fun along the way. Annabeth POV. It took me 3 hours to reach Percy. That teacher was full of coincidences. Literally every word or path I took, I had to double check if he was actually seeing me. For every scenario, I thought he had seen me. There was someone conveniently standing behind me to play the part of whatever I had done. That for the odds of the universe was the same they had done. I did the math and the chance was 1 on 3 million. But apparently, this school was cursed with odd odds. I was close several times to simply knock the teacher out, that for some reason I wanted to punch real bad. I wonder why. Percy, we have to go. The camp needs you. It seems Adam weakened the tree before Luke defeated him. I still couldn't believe Adam decided to betray us. I refused to believe he betrayed us. Percy shot back. And what? I hissed. You think Luke or someone set him up or something? I was almost growling at this point. Luke has been with us for years. I know he would never betray us. So that means Adam did. You are free to believe whatever you want. Percy barked at me. He was a prankster, a joker, and sometimes a bully. But he was good. I know that. And I will not believe any of it until he himself tells me otherwise. He glared at me, and I sighed. I actually felt sorry for him. Adam pretended to be his friend, and now he is in denial. It seems we have reached an impasse. I sighed. Still, we need you. The camp needs us. I will go, but have in mind, I will do everything in my power to clear his name, and I am not saying it was Luke, just that I know it wasn't Adam. Percy said with a tone of finality that said, I will not argue about this. Adam POV. I will go, but have in mind, I will do everything in my power to clear his name, and I am not saying it was Luke, just that I know it wasn't Adam. Percy basically shot at Annabeth with determination, and now I felt bad for messing with him for months, and I'm over my conflicted feelings. Anyway, to think Percy would be the one kid to believe in me. We'll give him an A on history. Oh, nobody would believe that. Even if I used magic to make them believe, they would not believe. No amount of godly power could make that believable. So I suppose AB will do. People will believe it, but most likely I will get investigated in secret for possibly sleeping with a student. Oh well. All right, kids. I will be UP.E teacher today. Mr. Whatever his name is got sick, like right now. I chuckle, poor guy. Such an odd thing to catch Greek dengue for a day. I wonder how that happened. Now let's start the class with a good round of dodgeball. Percy, you will be captain, and as for the other captain, let's go with Pennybeth. Ha! No, that would be silly, she's a dog. I smirked. As for a second captain, let's go with Matt Sloan. I watched as Percy and Annabeth dealt with the monsters, showing quite some skill. But in the end of the match, it was little Tyson who saved them, carrying the team with his incredible strength. It was quite an impressive display. After that, I saw them walk out of the school, to which I immediately quit my fake job, without Percy to troll. I had no reason to stay. As I made my way out of the school, I saw Tyson, Annabeth, and Percy talking, when all of a sudden Tyson points at me and said, he also smells weird. Annabeth looked at him for a brief second, as if pondering over his words before he turned to look at me, angry. I knew it. There are too many freaking coincidences, she barked, and I sighed, gathering the mist around us to avoid unwanted attention. My, what a tempered daughter of Athena. I chuckled. Hello, Mr. Jackson. I assume I won't get your last assignment, am I right? I asked Percy with a smile, and he sheepishly nodded. All right. What are you? Annabeth asked, her sword quickly unsheathing. Do you pretend to clean my teeth with that toothpick, or something? I snorted. What I am, or am not, is none of your concern, spam of Athena. What I can offer you? Well, that is. What can you offer, Mr. Nice Teacher? Tyson smiled, and I had to admit he was naively adorable. Well, information about anything you might want. I smiled at the young Cyclops. I am but an open book, if you ask the right questions. I'm not going to lie. I was having a blast playing the mysterious and edgy character that has too much information to be trustworthy. And we should trust you. Annabeth scoffed, her mouth closing into a thin line. Oh my, no. No, I chuckled. You would be an idiot to trust me or anyone blindly, but you would also be an idiot to let this opportunity go. I winked at them. Can you tell us what happened to the camp? Percy asked, much to Annabeth's annoyance. To the camp, nothing. To the barrier protecting it. Well, someone poisoned the magical core of the sacred tree, known as Talia's tree. I answered. Yeah, we know. Annabeth rolled her eyes at me. Adam, an ex-camper, did, and that I snorted. He did not. I chuckled. He was betrayed and sent to Tartarus before the tree was even touched. Luke stopped Adam, Annabeth growled, and I trust him with my life. Oh, you poor girl. I sighed, blinded by love. What a sad way to lose IQ. Oh well, enjoying having both your heart and self-esteem broken at the same time. Percy sighed. I will clear his name and make sure he comes back, he added with determination. I eyed the young demigod with curiosity before I smiled. Good luck then, young heroes. And with that I teleported out of the school back to Valhalla. Luke POV. Everything was going according to plan. As soon as Percy came back, I would walk him to the forest and kill him, ending all the threats to the path I am building for all of those that had been forgotten by the gods. Adam, while stronger than before, had changed and cared not for those who abandoned him, and according to Lord Kronos, would in time join us. But our conversations about Adam would feel off. Lord Kronos never stated I would be safe, nor that my survival was a must for his plans. I knew I was expendable, but sometimes it almost seemed he wanted to replace me with Adam. But perhaps it was my paranoia talking. I was about to reveal to everyone that I have ever loved. I was the traitor under their noses, that I was the one that had poisoned the tree, and that Adam had been innocent all along. Percy is on the move. Kronos growled within my mind. Be ready. The child of Poseidon must die if we wish to achieve my goals. He will die. I was sure of that. I had seen the kid. He was weak, not very coordinated. A pit scorpion would be enough to end him. Do not worry, my lord. Kronos left my mind without even acknowledging my answer, and I couldn't help but wonder if they would ever forgive me for what I was about to do. It was all for them. For us, we demigods deserve better, not what the gods give us. Today, I start our revolution. Hestia POV. I missed Adam. I missed hanging out with him. Things in the camp had gone rather dull since he left. Without him, I was back to the same old routine, tending to the hearth. I hated Luke for taking the little piece of joy I had obtained through Adam. Well, I suppose I didn't hate him. I can't hate anyone, not even Kronos, but I disliked him a lot. Not sure I would ever learn how to hate, nor that I wanted to. Hestia, your presence is required in Mount Olympus. Zeus thundered through the hearth, and I scoffed. I told you already, Zeus. Until Adam is cleared of the sins of others, I will not go back to Olympus. If my little brother thought I was going to obey him, after he was proving himself to be an idiot, then he had another thing coming. Hestia, I am your brother, but above all I am your king. Zeus growled, you will come, or I will drag you up here. There was his need to assert his power. I will not go. I shot back. Hestia, I have protected you for eons. I made sure everyone knew if they messed with you. They were messing with me. I even made a sin the act of courting you. Zeus stated, his eyes cold. Don't make me take away all that protection. Without me, you have nothing. I stared at Zeus in shock. You would stoop so low to get what you want. I was shocked. It hurt to know this was what I was worth to my brother. Goodbye, Zeus. And for the first time in my life, extinguished the flames of a hearth. Since my creation, this had been the first time I did such a thing. After teleporting back to my hotel room, I started to go through my things to see if I still had some of the delicious lasagna Hestia had given me before coming to Valhalla. Sadly, it seemed I had devoured the dish, for I had none on my bags, which meant it was time to go and get some more food directly from a source. Hestia. It was time to visit her anyways. All right, let's see where's my favorite goddess. I hummed, using a spell to locate and contact her, expecting her to be at the camp like always or in the Underworld, but much to my surprise, she was not in the camp, nor in the Underworld. That alone alarmed me. Didn't know why, but something didn't feel right, especially because she wasn't answering my magic call. Taking a deep breath, I decided it was best to go and check in person what had happened. There had to be a reason for her to be out of the camp and not answering my calls. Troplet OTHH. The spell did its job, teleporting to where Hestia was. She looked distressed. Her eyes were red, from crying I assumed. But what got my attention was the fact she was bleeding, gold-colored blood running down her arm from a cut of her shoulder. Adam, Hestia muttered, her eyes wide in shock. You have to leave. I couldn't really hear her, well I could, but I was distracted, seeing the cuts on her body, the pained look on her face, without even realizing it something snapped inside of me. Who did this? I asked, pointing to her wounds. A part of me knew staying here was a bad idea. Hestia was stronger than me, and if anyone managed to hurt her, it would most certainly be able to win against me. But the thing is, I lost control. You see, self-control is a finite resource because the part of the brain exerting control eventually gets tired. It requires energy, and that gets one way or another depleted. My decades in Tartarus, my friend hurt, it infuriated me. Hestia, in the name of Zeus, stand down and come, or I'll be forced to shoot you down. I stooped, a heavy feeling building in my stomach, my body stiffening at the familiar voice above us, as a sudden cold sensation accompanied by a feeling of dread hit my core. The one that had hurt Hestia was my sister, Artemis. Leave. I can take care of this. Hestia tried to push me to go, once again. Why are you hunting her? I asked, not even realizing how shaky and soft my voice was. Who are you? Artemis ignored my question, aiming her bow at me. Answer the question. I snarled, feeling a sudden onset of anger and frustration taking over me. Why would you hunt the noblest goddess in all of Olympus? The matters of Olympus are not yours to know, little man, Artemis hissed. Adam, please just go. I'll handle this. Hestia tried once again in a futile attempt to make me go. She should know by now I would never leave her. So be it, I growled, giving a quick bark of humorless laughter. But if you are hunting her, you will have to hunt me down, sister. I hissed the last word. Adam. Artemis seemed shocked for a second, as if double-guessing something. But soon that expression of doubt changed for one of resolve. You are also coming with me, traitor, in the name of my father. You too are under arrest. As soon as those words left her mouth, her hunters appear, circling us from the trees, behind the bushes. I could feel them aiming at us. Hestia might not have it in her to hurt anyone, but have in mind, dear sister, I will kill all your hunters if necessary. I growled, summoning my sword. For one, I knew it was best to run. But if I did with Artemis in front of me, she would be able to track my teletransportation, and if that happened, Asgard would pay. You will die before that happens, Artemis stated, pressing her lips together. Soon after, a flurry of arrows rained on me. The arrows came mostly from Artemis, and were all aimed at my vitals. In a rush, I destroyed the majority of them, but a few managed to graze me, drawing, cutting a bit my arms, legs, and face. I immediately readied for another attack, but Artemis was staring at me in shock. You are the god, she muttered. I followed her eyes to my wounds, to see that like Hestia, I was bleeding gold. I was bleeding ichor, the golden blood of all immortal beings. Well, good to know, I muttered. It's impossible, Artemis muttered. She was distracted. This was my chance. If I wanted to escape with Hestia, I had to do it now. So putting all the power I could muster into my hands, blasting the unexpected Artemis away into the skies. Immediately, I rushed at Hestia, scooping her into my arms and running the fuck away from there, with Artemis temporarily down thanks to my surprise attack. I had it much a minute or two before she recovered from it, so I had to run as far away as possible before teleporting to the hotel. After him, Zoe shouted, but I paid no attention. Artemis was the only threat. Her hunters had no chance of catching up to us. Adam, they will now know you are free. They will hunt you down, Hestia whispered, tears streaming down her face. Why didn't you let me handle the situation? You would have never hurt Artemis, I sighed. Besides, as your champion, I have to defend you, I added with a wink, trying to reassure her I didn't mind those idiots hunting me down. Thanks, Hestia smiled, resting her head on my chest. Anytime, Hestia. I grinned at her. Once I was far away from Artemis, and I was sure she would not be able to track my magical signature. I teleported to Valhalla. I think we are safe now. I breathed out, putting Hestia on the floor of my room, gently. You teleported us to Valhalla, Hestia stated, surprised by the location I had picked. The only place Zeus can't send his dogs. I nodded. Asgard is a world he has no real access to unless he wants to anger the Norse pantheon. Does Odin know? Hestia asked, her voice carrying more weight than it should. She was worried. I don't want to offend the Norse pantheon with my presence here. So that's what had her worried, a very valid reason to be worried. We already had enough in our plate with one pantheon hunting us. We didn't want another pantheon in that dangerous mix. I'll sort the situation with Odin and the rest of the gods here. I assured with a warm smile. Right now, she needed me to be strong, and I'm friends with Thor and maybe Heimdall, not sure, and Odin is pretty chill. I see. Hestia breathed out a sigh of relief. Besides, I smiled. Knowing Odin like I know him, he probably already knows you are here. I winked. I don't know what to do, Hestia muttered as she sat on my king-size bed. All my life, all I did was my duty, keep the hearth alive and well. And now, what am I to do? Will my realms die? At this point, she was shaking. I am scared, Adam. I know it's silly. I have lived more than any human could possibly want, but I'm scared of what will happen now. Hestia, words can't begin to describe how much I appreciate what you have done for me. I sighed, taking her hands. I was lost, living in a self-inflicted lie of pathetic optimism, and you made it all better. Your company was the oasis I needed. So hear me well. I will make sure everything goes back to normal. No, I will make sure to make things better. I took a deep breath. The hardest part of my little speech was yet to come. Hestia was a fierce pacifist, and unfortunately for her, more likely than not, this situation would not be solved with a simple conversation, even if I have to bring the entire Olympus down to ensure we survive. Adam, my D. Hestia began, but I stopped her. Hestia, I know you care for me. I do. Believe I do. I know you care for everyone. That's who you are. You even care for the disgusting excuse of a man that is your youngest brother, and above all, I also know you will not approve of my actions. I smiled at her. So feel free to hate me, but I will do what I must to protect what I love. I was surprised at how dark the last part had come, so I was stopped mid-sentence by a slap. I won't hate you. I will never hate you, Hestia said, glaring at me with something akin to anger. As you said, I can't hate anyone. I just can't. It's not in me. I don't like some gods and people, but I can't hate them. Priapo tried to rape me, and I forgave him. And yeah, sure, I was mad for a while, but I never hated him. I mean, I don't even hate my dad. And he ate me. She chuckled bitterly. So I probably won't approve of your methods, but I will still stand by you. You have become a beacon of light for me. So don't worry about that, she winked. Priapo tried to rape her. I was still processing that. And the fact the motherfucker was still alive. Thanks now. Let me go and talk to Odin about your situation. I'll start working on our dinner. Hestia smiled, running to the kitchen inside my hotel. Way to fucking minute. Since when my hotel room has a fucking kitchen? I'll take the other room if you do mind, she added. And since when do I have 2 rooms? Come to think of it, since when do I have a king-size bed? Okay, I replied, running out of the room to talk with Odin about Hestia and the sudden changes in my room. Odin POV. Today was the day I saw Adam bring Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, and home. I was mildly surprised about the events unfolding right now, mostly because of all the possible futures. This once was a bit iffy, but nonetheless, and as ironic and spoiling as it sounds, all roads lead to Rome. Adam, I greeted, preemptively as he entered the throne room. Odin, I need a favor, and totally unrelated to that favor. I have some questions regarding my room. Adam greeted, narrowing his eyes at me with mild suspicion. The kid was clueless sometimes. Can't he connect the points? And no, I saw there was a possibility of him bringing Hestia, and according to that modified his room. What is it that you want with me, young man? Pretending to be ignorant was fun at times. Well, I have a friend I love very much, Adam started, making emphasis in the word love. And like me, she's being hunted by the Olympians, and the reason behind it is because she stood up for me. I hummed, wondering what kind doors would Frigg choose for the throne room. Now that Thor was about to break them, Hestia, isn't it? I smirked at the young god. Adam sighed, yes. I know this is your realm, and I am but a guest, and right on time, a hammer broke down the doors of my throne room. Like always, Thor arrived late and at the right time. Father, I come here to request you let his wife stay here. I will not take no for an answer, Thor declared, holding his hammer tight. As she's not my Adam began, but Thor cut him off with a hug. I'm truly sorry, my dear friend. If I had known you were fighting, I would have showed those Greeks why they shouldn't be messing with us. Thor growled. Don't worry, though. I will make sure of doubling your training, so that next time, instead of running. You vanquished those fools to hell. Thanks, but about Hestia, she is not my W. Adam began, but this time I cut him off. I was having too much fun to let him spoil it. You are free to have her here. I winked. I am not so cold to break you two apart. A most wise choice, father. Why did everyone thought Hestia was my wife? It was a Riddick. Was that why my bed was now king size? Fucking Odin. Hate to admit the old bastard knows his way around a practical joke. I suppose he could have started a worse rumor, like me fucking Ares or something. So they all think. I am your wife. Hestia giggled. That's silly. It is. I smirked, feigning a hurt expression. But is it really that bad of a rumor? I pouted. And here I thought I was a good match. Hestia giggled. Of course you are, but Zeus declared I was to be untouched. But I suppose now that Olympian rule is out of the window, he probably declared me a traitor, she sighed. Besides, I think I'm a bit too old for you, she winked playfully. I rolled my eyes at her. Hestia, I'm 150 years old. Every available female is either too old or too young for me. Touché, Hestia nodded. So what now? What about what? I asked. Well, what are our plans? Hestia inquired, sitting on the edge of my bed with a somber expression. Well, I think I will head to Rome later today. I hesitated, wondering was Hestia aware of her split personality, her alter ego. That's a smart move, Hestia said, much to my surprise. Our alter egos or aspects are more than likely going to treat you well. Wait, you know about that? I asked, wondering how she dealt with that. I do. Every god does. We are aware of our alter egos. We simply don't know what they do or how they operate, Hestia admitted. I know about my Roman aspect, but I don't have any knowledge of what she experiences. I see. I sighed. Well, I mostly plan to see if the Roman pantheon has anything I can use to increase my power. Be careful. Our Roman aspects are more from what I have gathered. Militaristic, so try to avoid angering them. Hestia advised with a smile. Take care. Will do. I nodded. I'm sorry I don't have much to do here. We'll tell Thor to bring you a few game consoles. No need. I have plans with Frigg, Hestia smiled, but if Thor happens to drop a PlayStation or an Xbox, I won't get mad. She grinned. Very well. I snorted. Will do. I waved at her, teleporting to the throne room to ask Odin something before leaving. Adam, you do know there's a door on my throne room, right? Odin asked, with a bored expression. I do. I smiled, sorry for annoying you. I chuckled. No, you are not. And besides, you don't bother. Odin assured me with a smile. Not all the time anyway. So what can I do for you? I have a question. I sighed, rubbing my hands together in anticipation. Is there a way to fix the problem the Greeks and Romans suffer from their alter egos? Odin sighed. I should really start charging you for the questions. Heck, my own Uncle Mimir asked for something in exchange for knowledge. I gulped at that. But I suppose I have a soft spot for you. And to be fair, your book has knowledge. Not even me or Mimir have ever seen so. He smirked. I will help you. Thanks, I sighed in relief. Not so fast. Could Odin sighed. See, your problem has a solution, but is not easy. Not even I have managed to do such a thing with my own aspect or alter ego. You have an alter ego too? That was news to me. One that I'm aware. Odin nodded. Odin, the Norse god of the sun and husband of Freya. So believe me when I say, if the solution was simple, I would have done it eons ago. Alas, it's not. What do you mean? I inquired. Well, for one, you have to convince both aspects of merging, which is essentially impossible because the oldest aspect will be what remains of the two. So you would be basically asking Vesta to kill herself, Odin's side, and that's the easiest step. Step 2 and 3 are complicated. More complicated than asking an immortal being to kill herself. What in the fucking hell could be harder than that? If they agree to merge, you would have to move to step 2, making those who believed in each aspect believe they are one, and not two beings. Odin's side, which is harder than it sounds. Mortals are a stubborn bunch. You mean every human? If that was the case, this shit was impossible. No, just those that are really close to the aspects themselves. Odin shook his head, demigods and such. Well, at least the numbers are rational. I sighed in relief. Then comes step 3, which is the hardest of them all, finding a way to make the god in question immune to human perspective. Odin chuckled. That one. I have no idea how to do it. It has been eluding me for thousands of years. Not that Odin would ever accept merging with me. He doesn't want to die. He loves his wife, and his wife loves him. And even if he did want to merge, it would bring a political mess into my table. But still, not having the answer to this problem is infuriating, he admitted with a sigh. Well, I suppose I will try and give it a go, and if I find a solution to this, I will let you know. I smiled, wondering if fixing that was even possible. I hope you do, Odin chuckled. At times I think I am overthinking the problem, and that's the reason I have yet to solve it. Perhaps you will see what I failed to see. As if, I snorted. On other matters, can you tell Thor, Hestia needs some gaming consoles, a PlayStation, and an Xbox preferably? Odin laughed. The mighty All-Father, reduced to a messenger. Don't worry, your wife will have her consoles. I mean, you could have created them with magic, but whatever. Oh yeah, I sighed. I was still not used to my powers. Thanks, see ya. I'm on my way to give Zeus a godly migraine. I chuckled. Camp Jupiter was like Camp Half-Blood, designated to protect and train the children of the gods. In this case, the children of the Roman gods, or rather the aspects. Anyway, the difference between both camps was that Camp Jupiter was more like a military camp. I suppose thanks to the more militaristic way of thinking the Roman aspect had in contrast to their normally easily offended Greek side. Magically speaking, the camp was weaker or easier to break. Their magical defenses were weak compared to Camp Half-Blood. Well, I suppose it was relative. For me, breaking into both camps was now a breeze. But for monsters, well, they would have an easier way to break into Camp Jupiter. Taking a deep breath, I focused some mana on the area to get more information about the camp, mostly trying to find all the ins and outs of the camp, information I did not need, but I wanted to have to fill my curiosity. I had, after all, teleported to the camp, and had no idea where the entrance was located. With a chuckle, I felt as the mana pulse I had sent around the camp came back with the information I was looking for, showing me the camp only had one formal entrance, which was located in a service tunnel near the main Caldecott Tunnel in San Francisco. Young God, someone whispered too close to my liking. In the name of me? Fuck, don't do that. I jumped back startled, seeing an old lady standing behind me. Who are you? I inquired, taking a deep breath. We are the Percy, the old lady replied. We? Was this powerful old lady senile? Can gods go senile? Yes, we. Two more old ladies whispered in one voice behind me. Needless to say, I acted like a man, jumping once again. I had no idea why, but these soon-to-be oil grandmas felt like something I should not take lightly. We are known to you as the Fates. Oh, I really should have read a book of Roman mythology. Oh well, we have been expecting you for decades. Is that a good thing? I asked. The more I talked with them, the more pressure I felt in the air. No wonder Zeus feared them. They're leagues above Zeus. I can feel it, the power to control destiny itself. It's quite overwhelming. It is one of the terrifyingly powerful, grandmas nodded. Until it's not, Grandma B said. I will call them the ABC grandmas. So yes but no? I asked once again. Are you aware, the Roman pantheon has no real god of magic, powerful over 9,000 grandma, he said. Not really. Trivia fills the role. Quite poorly. Her main realm is Crossroads. And I asked, not sure where this was going. You want power, and we are willing to help you, Grandma C answered. Why? I asked, narrowing my eyes at them in suspicion. Why would the Fates want to intervene in my favor? There had to be a catch. No reason, Grandma A answered. We simply decided on a whim to help you a bit by guiding you into the right path. You see, you are a god, but your power is currently heavily limited. A god without a realm is no real god, Grandma C agreed. So you're just giving me the realm of magic. Yeah, that'd be a catch somewhere. No, we're simply informing you that as a god, you have the right to challenge others for their realms as long as you have a claim for said realm. Grandma C smiled. As Greek new god, you have the right to challenge Romans and Greeks alike for their realms, and we thought it was best to inform you about trivia and her situation. So, claiming it, the The possibilities to that implication were endless. Have in mind, the god would have to accept the challenge, Grandmobby stated. I see. Thanks. I was still trying to figure out their angle. Why were they sharing information with me? Nothing in this world came free. You are a mystery young god. We know your future. Yet because of your father and his, we can't alter it. We can only see it unfold. It's vexing, Grandma, A added. There it was again. Just who the fuck was my father? Can you tell me who my father is? I had a feeling they were not going to give me an answer, but it was worth a shot. No, we can't. And with that, they disappeared as they came, without making a sound. I swear it just feels my dad will end being a nobody compared to the hype these gods are building up. I sighed, so challenging a god. Well, I suppose that is a way to obtain power. Hades POV. You sent Artemis to hunt her. I bellowed in anger, as Zeus simply raised one eyebrow in mild amusement, his lip curling into a smug smile. I am her king, and I am your king, Zeus stated, slamming his fist on his throne. If she can't obey a simple command, then she will learn discipline. You are no king, I spat. You will regret this, Zeus. You will regret it. Hestia was always off limits. She was the hearth of Olympus, our fucking safe haven. Well, Zeus scoffed. I do what I do for the good of Olympus. Don't lie to me, you arrogant brat, I snarled. You know better than anyone. You only think of yourself. Do I? Zeus barked in anger. When our father ate every single one of you, it was me who rescued all of you when the walking calamity of Typhon attacked, and all of you hid in fear. It was me who fought the storm giant for years. It has always been my power, the very thing that has kept Olympus in one piece. You are never going to get it, are you? I chuckled humorlessly as more gods entered the throne room. Artemis, Apollo, Ares, to count a few. You think you're entitled to everything just because you're the strongest, just because you defeated our father, but being the strongest is not enough. You can't just be strong. You have to be smart. You can't just be deserving, you have to be worthy. But all you have ever been is a bloody brat. You have to grow up. Leave. Zeus. After my talk with the overpowered grandmas, I entered the camp transforming into a cat. And by that I mean fully transforming into a cat. No illusion. While the idea of claiming a realm was more than enticing, I wasn't entirely sure how the Roman aspects would welcome me. While I had Hestia's word, they were more amiable in some ways. I decided to be careful. For all I knew, they would also think I was working with Kronos, or in this case, Saturn. With that little thought in mind, I decided it was best to infiltrate the camp to gather valuable information about what the gods thought of me, and only once I was sure of them not desiring to hunt me, I would openly show myself. In the meantime, I would meow my way to victory. I have the strange need of pushing valuable stuff to the floor. I thought as I walked through the camp, maybe I should have picked another animal. One with less assholey tendencies. Taking a deep breath, I shook my head and decided to focus on the task at hand, at paw. At paw. After all, I would have time to judge my animal decision for this mission. Camp Jupiter was big and less campy, and what I meant by that was that the kids in here behave like a trained military force. I mean, I had walked for a good 10 minutes around then, and none of them had decided to pet me. Granted, I would probably scratch the fuck out of them, but still. I like to feel wanted, as any cat. Okay, maybe a cat wasn't the right option. Aren't you an adorable little fellow? Someone said, finally picking me up, it was fucking time. Yeah, I shouldn't have definitely picked a cat. The one that had picked me up was a girl around 12 years old. Her skin was a milky brown chocolate, allowing her face to show some shades of pink of her cheeks, her hair and eyes being a bit darker, going very well with her skin. My name is Reina. What's yours, little friend? Reina was her name. What an interesting development. Meow. I purred, what? She was petting me, and she was very, very good at finding that weird spot in my back. How about I call you Mr. Soft? Reina offered, and at that I hissed, I mean Mr. Soft? How dare she? Yes, I was very soft. I had picked a Persian cat as my cover, making sure I had the fluffiest and softest petting hair, but I would not be named Mr. Soft. I deserve a better name. The Destructor, the Almighty, something like that. Okay. Reina giggled. How about Genesis? Genesis. Well, I suppose that is more acceptable. So at that, I trilled a meow and a purr at the same time, letting her know I accepted the name for now. I see. So now, Genesis. How did you get into the camp? Reyna inquired, her voice going dangerously low, her petting stopping dead on its tracks. I narrowed my eyes at her and hissed. We'll take you to my superiors. They ought to know how a cat entered the camp. Reyna sighed. Interesting. As I saw it now, I had two options, letting her take me to her godly superiors and see if I could trick them, which was a very valid possibility, I mean. Zeus tricked Hera to marry him as a bird, or I could scratch this bitch and run, maybe this time changing into a bird, which in retrospect was a better option. What was I thinking transforming into a cat? As a bird, I would be able to survey the camp through the skies. Then again, I would also lose the chance of getting pets. Oh well, scratching it is. Taking a deep breath, I turned around, showing her my belly, setting the deadly trap for my scratch. As expected, she couldn't resist my fluffy and soft belly. It was the fluffiest after all. So with a little cat smile forming on my face, I yowled at the girl, scratching her hand, which in turn made her drop me, and ran. Lesson 1 when petting a street cat: never pet the belly. It's always a trap. It's always a trap. After my little altercation with Reyna, I ran into the woods and transformed into a raven, which was the intellectual choice and the option I should have picked the first time. I don't know what I was thinking transforming into a cat. Now that I had wings, I surveyed the camp with ease, learning its layout and how the campers behaved, which was what I wanted to know. After all, if the Roman aspects are also out to get me, then their kids would know. And so far I had yet to hear any demigod say, let's go and maim the sexy Adam. Why are you spying on the kids? A raven asked, flying to my side, but it was clear it was no normal raven. The power coming from this feathery one was massive. Whoever it was stronger than me, which was troubling. So for now, I would comply and answer the questions while I figure out how to escape if things got messy. Though for some reason, I felt I was in no real danger, as if this god of goddess in raven form would never hurt me. Curiosity, I cawed, shaking my thoughts a bit. I see. The overpowered bird in question replied before asking, who are you? Adam. Not sure if that helps though. I cawed, deciding it was best to land on a tree and transform back to my humanoid form. Taking my transformation as a cue, the other raven did the same, transforming back into what I assumed was her humanoid form. And yes, the raven was a she. Adam, the supposed traitor of the Greeks. Her form was oddly familiar, though. My name is Vesta. Hestia's Roman aspect greeted. No wonder I felt no real threat. A pleasure to meet you. I smiled at her, extending my hand at her. You are not what I assumed. Possible traitor, Vesta sighed, taking my hand and giving me a handshake. Vesta was strangely similar and very different to Hestia. Physically, they looked like twins, which I suppose in a way they were. But psychologically is where the differences started. Hestia was more openly friendly. Vesta was, I don't know, more serious? It was basically like talking to a more serious and to the point Hestia. It was weird, because at times I would forget who I was talking to. Did you really betray the Greeks? Vesta asked. No, they simply chose to believe I did. And now I'm being hunted. I sighed with the hauntingly painful thought of my sister shooting at me with the intent to kill. The only ones that believed in me were Hestia, Hades, and Persephone. I see, Vesta smiled. No wonder you feel so comfortable with me. I do, but it's also weird, not gonna lie. I chuckled. I suppose it can be, Vesta admitted with a chuckle of her own, but it is what it is. So what now? I asked her. Well, now we talk to Jupiter. Vesta answered. He will let you know if you have Asylum with us, or not. If you do, I suppose you'll have to take a realm and represent us. Just like that. What's up with people offering realms left and right? Well, I don't know how the Greeks do it, but here we don't have a god for each realm, and it's not every day a god without a realm appears out of thin air, Vesta clarified. Many of us have to fill for realms we don't even have a connection for, like poor Trivia. I see. But still, isn't that a bit too trusting? I mean, what was to say I would not betray them at any given time? Well, in a way it is, but how can you truly trust someone if you don't give them a chance? Vesta smiled. Sometimes we have to go burn ourselves to see if someone is trustworthy or not. That was very deep and somewhat risky, but I suppose I understood her reasoning. I see. Well, before we go, I have a question on the scale of 1 to 10. How likely is Jupiter to smite me? Frankly, a 2. Vesta answered, her eyes shining with mild amusement. He is not as aggressive as his Greek aspect. Well, ain't that a relief? I see. Talking about aspects, a little rule we have here is don't tell the demigods about our counterparts, Vesta said, her tone carrying more weight than before. Human opinion alters our form and gives us a very bad headache. In your case as a god, you don't really affect us, but the kids. They would give all of us a massive headache. Very well. I nodded, taking note of that if I ever needed to fight the Roman pantheon. Now follow me. I already informed Jupiter of your presence, and he wants to meet you. Vesta informed me. Lead the way. I bowed for dramatic purposes, wondering how this meeting would go. Adam, the Greek traitor, Jupiter greeted, and I wondered was the traitor part necessary. Jupiter, the king of the Roman pantheon. I smiled. Vesta told me you were spying on our kids. Jupiter muttered, his eyes narrowing at me in something akin to anger, making me flinch inwardly at least. The tension was so big I could probably cut it with a butter knife. Spying is a big word. I was simply curious about the Roman pantheon and wanted to see if they would offer me asylum. I lied. So I was told. Jupiter sighed. But before I give you an answer, as soon as he said that, a god appeared by his side, looking oddly familiar. Phoebus. Check if he lies. There was a not-so-hidden threat under that if I lied I would die. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. I smiled, feeling emotionally constipated at the fact I was facing Apollo's Roman aspect. Did you betray the Greeks? Jupiter asked. Going for the big boy questions, I see. No, they betrayed me, believing an idiot over me. He says the truth, Father, Phoebus stated. Do you have any ulterior motives that can hurt us? Jupiter asked, and for a moment I froze. Was trying to merge Hestia and Vesta an ulterior motive? No. I answered, ready to run if that turned out to be a lie. I wasn't sure myself, which is why I was ready to run like a bitch. He says the truth, Father, Phoebus stated once again, much to my relief. Last question, would you consider taking a role in our pantheon? Jupiter asked. This was feeling remarkably like a job interview. I would, as long as I'm free to travel. I have friends around the world. I answered. Jupiter looked at Phoebus, who nodded. Very well. That seems like a reasonable request. You see, as Vesta has told you, we have various realms without gods, some with gods that don't have a real connection to them. Like Trivia, she is the goddess of crossroads, but we had to appoint her the realm of magic, to which she has no connection. I see, I nodded. Then we have other realms that have no gods managing them. Jupiter sighed. And yes, this was definitely a job interview, so here's my offer. We will offer you asylum if you agree to become a Roman god. And what am I now? I asked with mild curiosity. A pantheonless god, Jupiter answered, which is why I want you to work with us. How in the fuck were Zeus and him the same being? They shared nothing in common. Well, maybe their promiscuity, but besides that, nothing. Very well. I accept the deal. I stated if this was going to give me power like the super grandmas said, I would be more than happy to take it. Very well, Jupiter nodded. Call to the Percy. We need to know what realms can he manage. Who knew becoming a god was so stupidly easy? I have to admit, I was happy to have this golden opportunity to prank new victims. All the Roman children and some gods would suffer at the hands of Adam, the pranking master. I saw as the Percy or super grandmas entered the room, all looking at me, filling me with a sense of dread and uncertainty. I didn't like the pantheonless god. One of the three sisters muttered, he can fill many realms. Jupiter, the question is, will you let him? Jupiter looked at them, pressing his lips together in mild annoyance, his body language showing clear rejection to the sisters. It seemed Zeus and his Roman aspect had more than it originally showed in common, like disliking the fates. What realms can he rule? Jupiter inquired, his right hand tapping his throne in anticipation. The young god has a strong connection with the magic realm. One of the three sisters answered, but that is not the only realm he has a strong connection with. Get to the point, Jupiter demanded in a cold manner. Mischief and trickery. He has a strong connection with both. the sisters said in one voice. Creepy. No wonder nobody liked them, but I think the reason nobody liked them was because they had the power to end anyone they wanted to end, including Zeus and or Jupiter. The only ones above them were the primordials, meaning the gods, were dancing in their old hands. Well, we already have Mercury with the realm of trickery, Jupiter side. Then it has been decided, Adam, do you accept the realm of magic and mischief? This seriously couldn't be the process of acquiring godhood. And I just remembered Zeus had given god realms to idiots just because they have his blood. I do. Then by the power given to me, as the king of the Roman pantheon, I welcome you, Artemis, the god of magic and mischief, to our pantheon. Jupiter stated, with a tone of finality, daring anyone present to defy him. Thanks. I gave the king a small bow, wondering where was the part where I would have to swear my loyalty or something to them. Why am I even thinking of that? This is an awesome deal for me. I don't have to follow them if things get bad for me. Before you come forth and claim your realms, Jupiter said, there is but one rule, one that I will not tolerate you or anyone breaking. As the god of mischief, I have a feeling you will prank everybody. He had a point, and I will allow it, as long as you don't prank me. Okay, I have to ask, risking to fuck this deal, at that Phoebus snorted, why are you guys being so trusting with me? A very good question, Jupiter nodded. The Percy saw you come hundreds of years before you were born with that information. We waited, and once you were born, we spied on you, and we have a very good general idea of who you are. Wait, they spied on me. So he was faking not knowing me? We know that as long as we don't hurt those who you hold dear, we will have no problems with you. If the Greeks can't see that, then they're even more stupid than I originally thought. That is scaringly accurate. I see. I nodded, not knowing how to feel about the fact they had spied on me for years. Then come, Jupiter said, extending his hand. Claim the realms that belong to you. With trepidation, I took his hand, and what I can only describe as a surge of energy exploded within me. It was very hard to describe. Welcome to the Roman pantheon, young god. You are dismissed for the moment. With that, Jupiter went back to his throne in Vesta, and I teleported out of the room. I felt massively more powerful. My body and everything, I felt like a completely different person altogether, but in my shock I couldn't help but wonder, why did the super grandmas share the bit about challenging a god for their realm? If in the first place I was not going to challenge anyone, were they telling me I would do that in the future? Was that a part of my future? God, why can gods be a bit more to the point? So how do you feel? Vesta inquired. Good. Just wondering what the Percy tried to convey during our first encounter. I chuckled. It simply didn't make any sense. They are mysterious beings, Vesta sighed. Perhaps I can help you with that, if you are willing to tell me what they told you. For a moment I weighed my options. If I told Vesta, Jupiter would know. Was that something I wanted? Or would Vesta keep our conversation between us? Fuck it. They told me I could challenge gods for their realms. If I had a connection to the realms I was challenging, it wasn't like this information would get me in trouble. I see, Vesta nodded. I can't see why you are confused, considering the realms were given to you without a challenge. Mostly because the gods that had those two realms wanted nothing to do with them, and gave Jupiter permission to hand them when the time came. So I don't know, what would they tell you that? Oh well, I shrugged. I suppose I will know in time, for the moment. I will go and prank everybody, I added with a maniacal laugh. Nothing life-threatening, please, Vesta chuckled. Nah, don't worry. I usually go for humiliating pranks that tend to be mind-scarring. I grinned and teleported before she could say or do anything. After all, I had a bunch of kids to traumatize. Juno POV. Adam, or rather Artemis, was not what I expected. The visions the Percy shared with us showed a kid unable to hate. Yet, inside him, I felt a shadow looming behind his amiable persona. He was such a good actor that he had fooled himself. The Greek pantheon had hurt him more than Adam himself would care to admit. Are you sure giving him such power is wise? I asked my husband Jupiter. It would be bad if he turned against us. He is very powerful, Juno. Too powerful. Jupiter sighed. We need to act carefully. His hate. He controls it well, but you saw it. He hates the Greeks with great force. What if he decided we are part of that? Part of what? I asked. It's no secret the Greeks and us are one and the same, two sides of a coin. Jupiter sighed. While it's true we are vastly different to them, we can't deny the fact we are connected to them. So imagine if his hate extended to us. I see, befriending him now by showing him some trust, and that we are better that our counterparts will avoid him ever targeting us. But still, if he was such a possible threat, why were we entertaining the idea of having him here? Killing him now would make things easier for us if he actually posed a threat, but still, wouldn't it be best to simply eliminate him before he grows too strong? Juno, the kid has no ambition, Jupiter chuckled. Out of all the humans or gods I have encountered, he's the first one that doesn't look at me and immediately wants my throne. In fact, is the opposite. Someone like that is someone I want to have close. That's a very good reason, I suppose. I sighed, wondering how much things would change now that Artemis had joined our pantheon. It seems he already started interacting with the campers. Jupiter sighed, rubbing his temples. He is pranking the entire camp. I was a genius. Okay, maybe that's an overstatement. But today I felt damn good. 2 weeks had passed since Hestia and Artemis tag-teamed my divine destiny into oblivion, but I had moved on. Why? Because I had completed the mnemonic chapter of my Grimoire. How'd I know? The book literally let me flip to new chapters now. Progress. Now I had access to not just the mnemonic chapter, but also the demonic arts and curses chapter. So many spells. I giggled like a middle schooler with a crush. So many glorious prank opportunities. My giggles turned into full-blown villainous laughter as I flipped through the cursed tome. The variety was insane. Dozens, no, hundreds of spells. And then I stopped. One spell caught my eye. The all-seeing eye. A spell crafted to spy and observe anything, anywhere, without being noticed. No material components required. Only a massive amount of mana. Incantation. I summoned the all-seeing eye to tear a hole into the sky. Reveal to me that which is hidden. Unveil to me what is forbidden. It was official. My grimoire had access to other universes' magic systems. I cackled with joy. Mwahaha. Naturally, I needed a test subject. I chose Percy and Annabeth. I stood tall, channeled my mana, and chanted. I summoned the all-seeing eye to tear a hole into the sky. Reveal to me that which is hidden. Unveil to me what is forbidden. A shimmering, oval-shaped magical window opened before me, revealing the current situation. Magical feed. Camp Half-Blood dorm room. Annabeth sat on her bed, her face set in serious concentration. Percy lounged across from her, looking emotionally defeated. I think I finally know how to beat him, Annabeth said, a dangerous glint in her eye. Oh, they're talking about me. I smiled. You sure? Percy asked warily. I just got that damn song out of my head. Annabeth nodded. Our mistake was attacking too soon. We need a slow burn. Build it up. Subtle revenge. Psychological warfare. Slow plan, huh? Oh, Slow Beth, you're so adorably outmatched. I thought we agreed to surrender, Percy sighed. He's too strong. I've accepted it. Never, Annabeth snapped. I took that as a cue. Da-da-da-da-da, I sang, casting a mental curse to restart my most annoying theme song in their heads. No, Percy ran out of the room. How did he do? No. Annabeth screamed. Another win. That's the 5th time this week. Unknown POV. My son had grown differently than I anticipated. Not what I had foreseen, but I wasn't disappointed. No, I was intrigued. He had yet to awaken his true power as my son. But he would. In time. I knew that woman would produce something fascinating. I mused aloud, amused and curious. Adam POV. The all-seeing eye? Absolutely amazing. Also, mana guzzling. Even with my enormous reserves, a couple uses left me wiped. Definitely one of those special occasions, only spells. As for the rest of the demonic arts, well, the chapter was insane. Some spells had no cost. Others demanded your life. Literally. One particularly suicidal gem, the Endura Curse. Mastering this chapter was going to be challenging, but that could wait. Today, I plan to take a break. Maybe even redeem that Underworld spa coupon Hades gave me. Hestia, if you can hear me, I'm heading to the Underworld for a massage, I called out casually. Please make sure the house doesn't burn down. Whoosh! Hestia appeared in a burst of flame. That was fast. I'm coming with you, she said with a smile that screamed you have no choice. I haven't seen my little brother in ages, and I could use a spa day. Well, I guess we're making a family trip, I chuckled. Hades POV. Adam had returned to the Underworld for another spa visit, this time with Hestia in tow. I was thrilled. Hestia rarely visits, and when she does, she brings cookies. Hestia, I greeted with genuine joy, pulling her into a hug. Hades, she smiled, embracing me warmly. Hey, Hades, Adam waved. Hey, I nodded. By the way, Persephone wants to show you some apartments. Adam paled. Poor guy. She's really set on you moving down here. Awesome, he mumbled, as if being shown 47 different units wasn't his idea of fun. Let's enjoy our spa day first, I said, walking toward the hot springs. You're not going home today, are you? Adam sighed. No, I laughed. Percy POV. I'm never crossing Adam again. Never. His pranking powers defy logic, physics, and all known boundaries of taste and mercy. Annabeth can fight that war alone now. I'm out.
Hello, everyone. As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500-plus novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.